everyone, and welcome to episode 185 of the Fans of Power. I'm Joe Amato, and I'm here with my partners in crime, Tyler T-Rex Baker. God, and I was almost putting Nasty Nathan Kennedy at the same time. See, that's why it's different when I say it, Nathan. I almost flub it, but what's up, guys? And then I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat room.
I got to throw you off. I can't. That's the only reason that I stick around sometimes at the beginning is just to throw you off, make sure you flub it and mess it up. And
Thanks.
then you knock your tablet over, and then that's how you start Fans of Power. That's
I don't know.
You know what's fun?
How do you screw up something like that? Like with the illiterate, you can say like nasty kneecap Kennedy or Kennedy or Nennedy.
I don't even.
Just like what I did right there. You know, I guess it is pretty easy to screw up his name. I pretty much answered my own damn question there.
Exactly.
That was unintentional. That was live, pal.
Yep. Yeah. You know, we're live. Exactly. Can we do this again? No, that's the thing. I haven't dropped this tab.
On tank top there, Joe. Is like, no, it's live, pal. Well, it's like, and then put Fans of Power like a logo on it, like that.
Right.
That would make a great T-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, because we definitely, we flubbed and we make mistakes, and hell, we just go with it. We own up to it. If we mess up, who cares? But first,
you know, it's like as long as we've been doing this, people don't call us out for making mistakes. Like, I guess if we get called out for anything, it's someone who disagrees with us. But we never get criticized for being unprofessional in our mannerisms, our conduct, or how we speak.
I can't speak for everyone on the panel, but I have gotten plenty of messages and emails. It's like, man, that Tyler guy, when he starts the show and does the intro, it's just, not good.
You know, I'd encourage you assholes out there that if you have problems with the way that I open the show, send it to me. All right. Have the balls to actually send me something to let me
I was
know
totally kidding,
what you want me to improve on.
So you got them all worked.
See how easy that was?
You got them all worked up for nothing. But maybe we'll adjust something like that in a second. But first, let me say hello to everybody in the chat room because it looks like we have some new people joining us as well. But Zentron, Wiley Walt, Patrick O'Keefe. I'm scrolling down. Apologize. Papa Huds 69, Zen Brown,
69.
Rick Poe popped in. Yeah. Grimbot, Miharu the Fox, and Von Ratliff have all joined us. And if I missed somebody, I apologize. So, but everybody who's here, thank you for joining us. Because like I said, we'll get into the discussion. And the thing we're going to probably talk about, I'm sure we'll have a lot of people disagree, but that's what's good. That's what I want to say is, see, we don't sugarcoat anything when we do this show. As you know, we'll just say it because I would hate for any of you guys to, every time we say something, just everybody agrees, because it would be such a bland, boring world if, like, when Joe spoke, all these people, as you could like to say, the cult of motto is, yes, Joe, that is great. I agree with you.
I mean, isn't that how it works, though?
Pretty much,
No,
though. I mean, you don't have a cult unless everyone's just kissing your ass and, you know, taking the sweat and putting it in cups so they can.
A bunch of Patterson and Briscoes out there.
Pretty much, saying, don't mess with Joe Model, we'll knock your socks off.
Man, I always hated that.
God, I did too.
That was like the worst part of that documentary, watching through just Gerald Briscoe just being like, Mr. Mike Mann is the smart, he's a genius.
It's like he's got his balls and he's just sitting there fondling him off camera, you know?
Yeah, may as well.
No, but like I said, but that's what's great.
Joe, who's fondling your balls off camera, by the way?
Hey, him. Well, I don't know. Can't discuss it. But no, like I said, I like.
That's what Joe calls all of his followers. He or she who has no name.
But it's good. No, but like I said, it is good. We want people to disagree. We don't want everybody to agree with us. And like I said, when we say we don't sugarcoat it, it's like I said, we're going to speak our minds. If there's something we don't like, we say it, because otherwise, how can people learn from anything? To, let's say somebody thinks this is absolute perfection, whatever is put out before them, whether it's something in comic book form, action figure form, something they could do for a cartoon or a movie. It's like, if there's something you don't like, just speak up. Obviously, if you're not giving death threats to these people who are creating it, if you're just honestly saying, I really don't like it, and because of this reason, do that. I encourage more people to speak up. Just like when we do the show. If there's something you kind of didn't like what we say, just when we make points on the show, say it. If you don't agree with us, let us know, because we appreciate it. That's what we like. But I'll pass it to you, T-Rex.
Yeah, I mean, that's, people have been disagreeing and agreeing with each other since, the early days of the internet, of course, and people have their viewpoints and thoughts on the characters and how things should be done, or this series of cartoons was great, that one was not, or this comic was great and that one was not, and well, we that's kind of one of our tentpole trademarks of this podcast, is just talking about stuff we don't like and things we do like, and I'm sure some of us think of us as just negative on a lot of the stuff. But if you listen to all these episodes we've done, 185 episodes, people. I mean, if you can't find something positive we said in all those, then you're not watching it, and you're not hardcore, and you're an asshole.
Wow. Okay, sure.
The point is like we encourage, not just with people who listen to this podcast, but in all the fan community, feel comfortable to agree or disagree with people. Don't be afraid that if you don't like, here's an easy one, the new She-Ra cartoon, that you're going to be labeled as a sexist, which I think I'm quite sure that has probably been thrown up by some people, that you're a hate monger, or you don't like women, or you're a sexist pig, to quote Jesse Spano there, or something like that. Just ignore that, because they clearly have got their head up their own ass, and they're a human tree stump. They're not thinking clearly at all. They're just so quick to label your opinion. And if you don't feel the need to be articulate with your opinion, because honestly, arguing on social media, I think, to quote Nathan, I'd rather look at my own butthole. I don't have it in me to sit on social media and argue back and forth with somebody on another part of the world. It's
wait,
what?
Well, wait a minute. What Yahoo Movies review was that? Was that Wolfen?
No, that was like making fun of a naked Edward James Olmos. That was just something you would
Yeah,
used to say.
but wasn't that from my Wolfen review on Yahoo Movies? I said I would rather stare at my own butthole in the mirror for 2 hours than to watch this film.
You may have.
It was something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was just a quote I wouldn't forget. But yeah, I that's why I don't like to engage in like debates on social media, because I find it monotonous to argue with someone, or just have a debate on Facebook, because that's the only bit of social media I engage in. But I think some of the, obviously, like Joe said, if you get ugly with this stuff, then your opinion doesn't count. If you just come out and say, you don't like the live action movie because you just felt that Dolph's acting just didn't live up to what you expected, okay. Simple as that. But if you're going to come out and say that, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about, a bunch of morons, because you guys are stuck in the 80s, you just like all the old stuff, and that just comes off like, you have the brain of an ice cube, and you're just going to melt right in front of me anyway.
Yeah, but we have some people in the chat room saying some stuff, which, like I said, and I'll get to, and that's what I mean. I love addressing it, because we never get angry with people in the chat room. We always listen to what they say. But first, let me just say,
because I can't see it, and if you guys are having problems with me, they don't tell me till after the fact.
Well,
I'll acknowledge the stuff, Tyler, you jackass.
Well, yeah.
First, I don't know if I said hello to Rick Poe, and if I didn't, I did now. And also, Brad Collins.
I remember there was no mention of a Rick Poe in that chat room there. So, Joe, you have to issue this man a public apology and $500.
I don't have the $500, you know that, but I can get you some coupons, Rick Poe. But thanks for popping up. And Brad Collins is on lunch break, just popped in to say good day, guys. Only character that he wants to see in the movie is Zuva Rex. And Nathan, don't forget about a question he had a couple of months ago, bud.
Whoa, hey, wait, hang on. Stop the presses. Brad Collins had a question from a couple months ago?
Hey, maybe he did. We just missed it, but he might pop it up and say it if he did.
Yeah, just you're gonna have to ask that question again, or I think we're friends on Facebook. Maybe message that. I don't know. Do something to get that question to me.
Yeah, and he might be giving you a hard time. And Patrick O'Keefe,
probably.
I was going to say, I don't know if Patrick was serious or not, but I will respect what he said. He said, Joe, I disagree with your decision to eat bugs. And I don't know if it's a joke or serious, but
I kind of think we all do.
I think
that's
Joe, how could you think the one
that's
guy...
unanimous.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge.
He deserves the fact that you hijacked the podcast about He-Man and She-Ra to eat live animals.
It was different. It definitely was not. Usually...
Tyler, to be fair, they were insects and they were already dead, so it's a fair game, I suppose.
Besides the tarantula, the others were delicious. But Zen Brown, and when I was talking about sugar coating, Zen Brown said sugar coating is one thing. He said, but Tyler being picky is something else. So see, and Zen Brown might think you might get picky at things. Also,
I am Professor Highbrow. That would be my if I had like a I do have a He-Man.org name, but if I was to make another one, it would be Professor Highbrow. I do have a high standard when it comes to my quality of excitement for a Master of the Universe. I do not settle, and I will not settle. If something is really good, or I didn't think it was, I will give it a second thought or a second chance occasionally. But yes, I am very picky, and
guys, to be fair, because I've known him for a long time. It's not just masters; it's like food and women. He's picky all across the board, so don't worry about it. He's good.
Yeah, I know what I want. Like, I'm not someone who doesn't know what they want. I know what I want. I am very precise in what I want, you know. However, I'm a very plain eater. I'm not a picky eater. I just don't want green shit and vegetables and mustard on my food.
Stuff that makes you stronger. Which, by the way, I got a few things to share at some point before I kind of bounce out before you guys do character spotlight. But Brad Collins, I have the window open. I have your questions here, so I will make sure that when we get to the question portion of the show, that those will be asked. He sent those on March 31st, and I was like, "Yeah, man, totally got it." And then all these weeks passed by. I'm like,
"You left him hanging."
I know.
No wonder why he was.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, own up to it.
I can't send you $500 either, but I can go to the McDonald's down the road and get you a coupon book and send it your way.
I could do the coupons. You could do the money. But no, and when we get to the part when we're talking about these characters for who we'd like to see in the movie, I know the characters I'm going to say. I bet not only will it anger some of the people in the chat room, but it might even anger Tyler. But we'll see. But Miharu the Fox did have one thing to say.
Why would you want to go and not only anger them, but why would you want to anger me? You know, I mean,
I just love doing it.
Yeah, it is kind of fun, isn't it, Joe? Embrace.
Yeah, it is. But let me get to for something for Tyler. Miharu the Fox said, "I tend to disagree with Tyler most of the time, mostly because I'm a huge." Well, hold on, wait. But
I mean, to be fair, I kind of think we all do deep at heart.
But you got to let me finish because I think Tyler understands.
I talked to you guys in private. Both of you guys like, Tyler. Oh my god, like I never thought of it that way.
But you'll see the context.
No.
I didn't finish. I got to finish so you can understand the context.
All right, Joe, you finish.
I tend to disagree with Tyler most of the time, mostly because I'm a huge MYP fan and he has different opinions about that show. Nothing against him personally, though. So that's what Miharu said. But yeah, because I know, Tyler, you've said things you kind of don't like, but you've been open about saying there's a lot of things you really love in MYP too.
Oh, yeah. Say, tell this gentleman here that if he wants to hear me say positive stuff, which I have made a point to say it multiple times, and I'm not saying this to be smartness. Like, I genuinely have a lot of good positive points I've made on that. Like, for the commentaries we've done, you go back and watch like the Roboto's Gambit commentary, the Rise of the Snake Man commentary we did last week, the Snake Pit. We've done an overall discussion on the 2000X series. We've done a discussion on I think we did actually a commentary for The Monster Within. And we also did one for Separation. We did a discussion on Separation, too. So those are just some of the examples of a lot of the positives. Like, I always like Count Marzo's portrayal, Evil Seed, Squeeze, Roboto in the first episode. I hated his voice in the next episodes to follow. But those are just some of the points. So,
and which was a good example at one time when I remember like you and I disagreed. I don't know if it was much of a disagreement, but I always said I wasn't a big fan of Evil Seed from MYP, but I love them in Filmation. But then I said, of course, when it came to MYP, I absolutely love what they did with Count Marzo and wasn't a fan of the Filmation one. But so, yeah, I guess there's always, a disagreement here and there, but I know there was things like you explained, some things you like, some things you didn't.
If people think that I'm just the guy that just dumps on MYP because that's the consensus, I think it's kind of funny, but no,
I think Miharu, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think Miharu is one of our female listeners. If I remember her when I think she was in the chat room a long time ago, I believe.
Okay, well, please, ma'am. I encourage you to go back and check back our discussion on Roboto's Gambit, The Monster Within, Separation, our MYP discussion, Snake Pit. Those are just some of the examples where I am giving. Yes, in every episode, I'm going to find some problems with like a character like Tila or Man at Arms or Evelyn's voice, and I think this lady would have a hard time defending Clawful in this series too. So the show is not perfect, and Filmation has its flaws too, but the storytelling I just find to be a lot more better than MYP. MYP had the action but no substance. Filmation has substance and little action. So
okay, all right, and thanks for saying that. And I'm sorry if I've been feeling with my mask, but the heat is really bad. I'm starting to sweat. I think it was Grimbot asked me a couple of weeks ago. He's like, "Why you got all them tissues on your keyboard?" When my tablet fell over, I put the tissues.
How about that, Joe?
No,
keyboard too.
Yeah.
Just tell us, Joe. I hope it was
come on.
for free.
I put the
If
tissues.
you find that you're paying for certain adult content and you're telling us, I ain't got no money, guys, man. I can't afford to do jack shit.
Yeah,
No,
he's like part of the Pornhub like premium member, like premium supreme members.
He's got like a T-shirt and everything. He says,
we'll send you a T-shirt. Here's like blah blah blah. And he's like, oh yeah, totally
and a box
cool.
of our finest aloe Kleenex tissues. You know.
So I put I put
for extra comfort.
In my mask against my cheekbone to keep it off of my eyeball because part of it sticks on my eye, but the sweat has started to pour in my eye and it was burning. I was almost blinded. So first also let me say hello to oh my god, I can't see Ryan. Ryan joined us and so did Fedmon. So oh my god, that
you could turn your camera off for like 5 minutes and give your face a breather while we record and then turn it back on. You don't have to sit in misery the whole time.
we can go through the process of finding Joe a way to make a luchador mask that is patterned after Modulok. That would probably be the best way to go.
That could be because man, when it starts getting hot around here for the summer, oh geez, even with the air on, it's just. Oh, it gets me. Oh, and
we can start a GoFundMe to get Joe Amato an air conditioner to just put in this one room.
Or an oscillating fan. You know, I guess we could go to.
You know what? I should do a fan. I never thought.
Oh, and Joe never thought. Hey, what if I just go to Walmart and just get a fan that can like
this new technology that's been around? Just I don't know where have I been?
I'm gonna get a fan. That is a good idea. But also, Omegator joined us, and Kyle Kendall, and I already said Benjamin Bowie. Damn, did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. But okay. Well, before we start now talking about who we'd like to see in this movie, Nathan, was there something you wanted to show everybody before we started talking?
I do have a couple things. I hit Joe Amato up to customize me some slime for a slime pit that I bought and to have Roboto into it. And Joe's like, well, that'll be $375. And I was like, Joe, I can't do that. And he was like, I can knock it down to about a steady 247. And I was like, well, I'll consider. No, it wasn't that, but
no,
it's gonna get wonky again because once again, don't have multiple monitors here. But let me just put the camera just solely on me. So if they talk, it's not gonna come off of me. Look at that, front and center.
Okay.
It's like the Kevin and Axel drawings. Here I am. Look at my face.
Your one time to shine.
I don't have to say anything. They just.
Oh God!
Accept the power.
Anyway,
exudes from this facade.
Anyway, all right. So there we go. There. Ah! And Joe, when I took this picture, I still hadn't switched out the arm attachment because he also made the slime to fit on one of the other arm attachments, and I still haven't turned out all the lights to see if indeed. Oh God, sorry. If that glows in the dark. And I guess while we're here, actually, I'm not going to show that off yet. But Joe, thank you for this. It looks fantastic. No, it's really, really awesome. So make sure click the link down below in the description. So if there is a custom, or if you guys have your own slime pit and you want some slime, he will mold that slime to fit any character that you want. So there you go.
I
appreciate that. Now, thank you,
really,
Tyler.
really good.
No, thanks. I do appreciate that. And I guess I'll explain the context of how I did the slime because, there's a lot of people who always wanted to slime characters like Mossman, Grizzlor, but if you did that with real slime, those characters were done. They'd be damaged. So with this, I guess it's your way of sliming anybody without actually sliming, but it looks just like it. It's just, and the thing is, I actually sculpt every bit and at first, I put a protective covering over whatever figure and whatever pose. I tell everybody, you tell me the pose you want that character to be in, even if it's just the generic regular version, stance that they have. But then I will sculpt it into that look. Once it sets, then I take it off, I paint it up, I give it a gloss to make it look wet. And if you want it to glow, I can make it glow too. But I'm glad it arrived to you safely because I always get nervous when I'm shipping.
Oh, no, yeah. Joe made sure to message me. It's like, hey, that should be there on Friday. I hope it's okay. I wrote fragile all over the box, and there's no denying that. It's just fragile, just written everywhere, like a crazy person. all over
like
the
R
box.
reversed and the word fragile or anything like that? Written in chicken blood or
Yeah, I had to protect it. I mean, because I did not want any pressure. I didn't want any compression of that box, because otherwise, if there would have been certain packing between the two sets of slime and the little one, if they would push, stuff can break. So I just had a way that I got the slime to go into the box to where nothing would push against each other. And
no, yeah, he definitely, it was definitely like, here's the box, here's each piece of slime like taped to the side, like just complete opposite of each other. And I'm just like, he did well. It was good. But it's also, Joe, it's also really sturdy as well, because with my slime pit, and I noticed, I didn't notice this until I went to put the slime in there and looked at the picture that you had sent me, that if you put your brand on and everything, that I am also missing like the top middle piece that really keeps that from like clamping down, and Tyler's also missing the same piece. I was like, shit, like I'm missing this. But no, it's sitting up there. It looks perfect. Later, I'll turn the lights off in here, not on the show, but I'll turn the lights off and then see if it is glowing in the dark a little bit. But thank you for that, Joe. It's fantastic.
I'm glad you enjoy it, and I appreciate it. And I think you had something else you might want to share that I don't think even I've seen, correct?
Oh, yeah. So, I think it was last week. I feel like it was last week that we talked about how Tyler used to have piercings in his ears. Well, I
don't think I shared that on this podcast, though.
I came across, as there was at one point that I had made a video. I'm not going to show the video. It's just stills from this video.
Oh,
Tyler, do you remember when you beat Dead or Alive and you beat the final boss? Do you remember that?
Yeah, the minute he said video, I'm like, I know what this is. Yeah.
Tyler knows what we're talking about. Let me get everything, kind of make sure that... Okay, all right. Make sure that I got that going how I want to. We're going to go back in the screen share. So apologies, going to get a little weird. So if you guys are on LSD, prepare yourselves. Boom! And actually, hang on. I need to, let me put that. Oh, no, what? There we go. There we go.
And keep it stuck on you, so when we talk, it can stay on that picture.
I'm pretty sure it is stuck on me, I think. But look at that. You guys can kind of see the piercings there. And look at Tyler's arms. Not as big at this time, because he had just started working out. Yeah. Boom, there he is. Look at those ripped jeans right there on his knee and his thigh. But you can see the piercings just sticking out. I don't know if you had the eyebrow piercing by this point.
No, I think I got that. That was the last thing I got. So my right ear is pierced there, which means my left side was pierced too, because I got that one done first, and then the right one, and then that's when I got the stud in my eyebrow after all that, which was my right eyebrow, so it's not there yet.
Winner takes all, everybody.
Yeah,
look at it.
Basketball, sporting my affinity for basketball back then too. So,
and I meant to also screen cap the video before, but there is one of you like flexing after you beat that. So I'm gonna maybe when you guys go into the character discussion, I will screen cap that as well and show it later on in the show. But I wanted everyone to see this.
I look so small.
You were tiny at that time, man. Like still big, but like definitely way smaller than what you are now.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Awesome.
Wow. And I was not expecting that. I was like, oh my God. Like what's he found, or what's he gonna share here? Yeah.
I'm temporarily gonna block myself just to lift my mask up because I'm dying. So yeah, I had to do it.
Everyone said zoom in. All right. Well, here, hang on. We'll screen share. We'll do this again. I'll zoom in. Well, there we go. I'll have to let me get it set up a little bit. I'll have to finagle. All right. There we go. I mean, it's going to be blurry because this video is from
like early 2000s, like
dude. And no, it was 2007. So, but still, that was like 12 years ago. That's wow. That's a long time.
You could see a lot better there, though. Definitely, you could see it better.
All right, let me go here. There we go, and we'll just kind of. I just want to focus on these jeans. These are like the Hollister jeans that he was spending like $80 or more on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ridiculous. I'm like, man, just go get a pair of jeans at like Walmart or something. We can.
But I wore them so well back then when I could actually wear, jeans like that. So.
And you know what? I'll make some edits to that video where I posted it, and maybe we can just share it with everybody at some point so they can just see it in all of its glory.
As long as I don't have to watch it, I don't care what you.
I don't know. I don't think there should be any audio to it because I listened to my voice in that, and even Emily was just like, "That's you." I was like, "Yeah, that was me."
She's like, "Why am I here?"
Yeah, pretty much. Winner takes all, everybody.
Winner takes all.
Remember that. All right. Hope I didn't embarrass them too much, but
I don't think you'd be embarrassed. Doesn't look that drastic or insane, so it looks pretty cool. But quickly before we do get in our conversation, I did want to say hello to Angry Guy Productions and Ocean the Experience joined us as well. So thank you for joining us. And now I think I got everybody.
Well, now I wanted to throw out something before Nathan bounces too.
Okay.
My cousin Jason contacted me, and he's a fan of the podcast. And I don't know if Joe saw it. He probably didn't because he didn't respond, I don't think. But Jason's in a band, and his band had did like their renditions of like an assortment of like Nintendo themes, and he loves the podcast and offered to do a version of the He-Man theme, possibly as an intro to the podcast.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Thank you.
No.
I'm sorry, but I've been, because those of you that join us on Podbean and iTunes, I've kind of been searching for just another set of music to use for it, because while that's good, I just wanted something that captured it better. So yeah, if he wants to do that, please
that'd be cool.
Please do. That would be awesome.
So I told him, I said he would get to work on it this week and send me whatever he comes up with first, and because he's got a book that covers a lot of the 80s themes. I said you got the Thundercats, Silverhawks, Turtles, G.I. Joe. But his band's on YouTube, and they've done like Super Mario Brothers, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. There's like 25-minute video of him and his band doing assortment of Nintendo themes too. And he's a few years older than me and Nathan. He's probably around Joe's age. But
what do you mean?
I'm just saying.
So about 53.
This guy, he's a little too old there. Joe Amato, that guy's about 57 years old. So
it sounds like Zach Morris pretending to be an old guy.
Wait. Oh, God. Which episode was that one?
When they spy on Slater and his ex-girlfriend, they're going to the movies, and so Jesse and Zach pretend to be old people to get the senior discount and spy on Slater. And
wait! Is that the one that was like the ex-girlfriend at the army base, and she calls him Albert Clifford? Yeah.
That's the second Saved by the Bell reference we've had on the show. Adam Gabbert, thank you for joining us.
We give you more for your money on this show. We're not just stuck on we are stuck on everything that was great.
Tyler, how do you feel? Maybe instead of doing that Miami Vice podcast that we thought about doing, what if we just did a Saved by the Bell one?
We did, didn't we, a while ago?
Yeah. I still would want to do like a choice commentary for certain episodes of Miami Vice with you. But Saved by the Bell, absolutely. No Miss Bliss episodes though. I could give two shits about that.
Yeah, no. That's fine. We should definitely do some college years ones, because I have a soft spot in my heart for that, and the theme song is fantastic.
I don't give a shit what people say. College years should have been on for like 4 more seasons. Yeah, it was great.
I'm standing at the edge of tomorrow, man.
Yeah, love that. Mike Golick. It was awesome.
Yeah, he was, and it's funny that his brother ended up doing like that radio show for ESPN with Mike,
which I can't
Goldberg.
stand him.
Yeah, well,
he sucks.
Well, he's okay.
He's just I like Mike Green better. Mike Green, he's much more. I don't know. He just I just find him a lot more entertaining to watch than the other Mike who just screams and yells, "Yeah, you're a Golic, and we eat, and we eat, and we eat." And you're like, "Yes, I get it. You like food."
Zen Brown says, aka the Zach Morris's Trash Podcast. How about the season with the Beach Hotel? Dude, I love those episodes.
I love those too, yeah.
Where
with, Stacy.
This one's for the car. And they have like the volleyball match.
The rock music,
they think they have it when they got like the big tall guy. It's like, we got it, and then like Screech messes up and he breaks his foot and everything.
On his foot. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
You're gonna have to save all that goodness for an episode.
If you guys like Saved by the Bell and you want us to kind of do a Saved by the Bell podcast, Tyler, I think we should do that. Do commentaries for Saved by the Bell episodes. That'd be great.
Yeah, so people in the chat room are thinking it's great. We expect you to at least view it or download. Not just, oh yeah, it's great. And whatever. Support it.
Joe, are you all right over there? I thought you were supposed to just be wiping your face. Are you putting more? Are you leaving more tissues on your keyboard?
I was gonna say I'm actually. I think I'm ready to get to the movie discussion, but I got to keep this off for just a little bit because
Joe, really if you have something that comes up, just say a code word like Yankee Doodles. No,
if he has something that comes up and he needs the tissues.
Oh God!
The show's going off the rails.
If something else happens, and Joe has to get up. But since Nathan decided to take it to the
it's not like he's going to the chalkboard in like 6th grade to like figure out a math problem or anything.
No, if something comes up,
he's always shot from like the chest up. It's all right. Everybody knows that he doesn't wear pants anyway, so it's
there you go.
I'm sure that Joe was always the guy that wore a raincoat to the video store. And just would kind of look around where he's wearing sunglasses and walks back through the curtains or the beads or whatever it was,
I try not to be, but I think we'll get into our.
I was gonna say, are you guys kicking me off for the movie discussion? I feel like I could at least talk about like.
Yeah.
No, I
contribute to that.
Started. Like, Joe, are you pushed for time? That way, if we have to watch the time.
No. I'm good. Okay. But Nathan, definitely stick around for that. So
I'll stick around for that part, but when you guys go into the character discussion, I'll bounce out.
Nathan, you watched House Chakotay. I'm surprised you would want to bounce on them.
Well, I mean that was a long time ago, and I haven't been able to reach it. But
people don't forget.
But we should also thank Penny Dreadful. We should thank Danielle for sending us.
Well, see, I had a way of doing.
Oh, okay. That. Sorry, I ruined it. I'm sorry.
Jerk.
We should go ahead and do that now.
I'm going to build the surprise because I'm sure when she listens to this, she's going to be lowering. These assholes aren't even acknowledging that. Gives us I had time just right for the Masque discussion.
I'm sorry.
Even open up to the section on Masque, and Nathan's like, we should just
maybe
all over myself.
I'll just go ahead and go.
Well, we're already here, so go ahead. Yes,
see you later. Well, go ahead and thank her and show it off because mine's sitting over there.
Yes.
So
when we get to it in a little bit, we're going to do a Masque discussion, but I'll also use the character compendium that our wonderful friend Penny Dreadful Danielle was very kind and decided, and this completes my Dark Horse collection of all the Dark Horse releases that they've done on He-Man and She-Ra. And she took it upon herself to get us all a copy of that. I'm not sure if Joe's has arrived yet, but
I did not. I knew nothing about it until you kind of mentioned that. But nothing came yet. But I know she said something was coming in the mail, would be here tomorrow. So I'll definitely let her know. And that's an amazing thing for her to do because those things ain't cheap.
No,
to send one to all of us, God.
And oddly enough, I was actually looking at it on Amazon because I was like, I should probably get this so I can, if they have character discussions and they want to drag me on the show like they always have a tendency to do. And I'm like, I can just kind of read up a little bit and maybe watch a few things and, maybe kind of sound smarter than them. So thank you, Danielle, for sending that to us.
Very much. And I didn't get this book because I thought it was just going to be filled with all the bios that Scott and Alec wrote. I'm like, I'm not buying that. However, I was wrong to know that they included a wide assortment of a history of all the characters, of how they're portrayed in the vintage line, in the German audio plays, in the annuals, in the mini comics, Filmation. So if the character's been used quite a bit in the mythology, they do a great job of acknowledging the wide variety of interpretations from, I'm looking at, golden books and various assortments and things like that. So it is well worth the time to get this. I didn't look for something so.
He's like, I'm out then. Forget it. I ain't buying, but no. And JD Gibson, thank you for joining us.
No, there was times where I thought Spider's not in this book. She said there were mistakes in this book, and I found one of them. Then I found Spider.
Of course you did.
Yeah. But
did you say Spider is not in there?
No, she is in there. I didn't think she was, but they had this thing broken up into so many sections. You have items, you have locations, you have tools, you have vehicles, you have pieces of the planets, I mean, it is broken up into so many small details. Like, I mean, it's even characters from the live action movie. Charlie, owner of the music store, he gets his own segment. Lubick,
Oh God,
you know.
well, Lubick should, but Charlie, wow, who would have thought Charlie would have popped?
He's even got a spot in this. So they go very knee deep into the mythology. So even this should make Nathan, not look like an idiot all the time. Nathan's just like, I couldn't agree more with that, and just repeats what I just said.
Yep, thumbs up. Thumbs up all around. I do want to mention in the chat that some people, I guess they were kind of thinking that we would do that Saved by the Bell discussion on this channel. No, we would definitely not do that. It would be on the Beyond Retro channel. So don't worry yourselves with like one day Tyler and I are just going to show up and you're thinking, oh yeah, 9:00 Sunday, Fans of Power. Oh, they're talking about Saved by the Bell. What is going on? No, that we wouldn't do that to everybody.
Now, just to remind people who have not paid attention when we say it, we do other podcasts on the Beyond Retro channel, which is just the brother channel of this, where we do capes and commentaries, Beyond Retro every so often. Nathan's got a wrestling podcast. When Joe decides to, eat stuff for charity, he goes on there too, probably.
Joe, man, are you all right? We still haven't. We haven't gotten visual confirmation from you.
I'm gonna get the mask back on some point during the podcast, but I really needed a breather. I was so hot that my eyes, they really were on fire when I took this mask off. Not to sound gross, it was dripping.
Just stop.
You need to be doing this regularly anyway, bud. You're putting yourself through a lot of discomfort every week, and we need
to get him that luchador mask. But Joe also would help if you would stop eating wings with hot sauce on them and then rubbing your eyes. I don't know why you continue to do that.
Yeah, I love.
It's like Jim Carrey in the bathroom and Lyle. It takes that soap.
Yeah.
Just does that. Right. That's just what Joe does.
I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind?
Do you mind?
Oh Jesus! Oh shit! But
all right. We'll get to the movie. But Danielle, thank you, and thank you so much for doing that for us. And really? Danielle will make her triumphant return to the podcast on June 30th.
Oh yeah.
She's agreed to come back and join us, and we.
Well, what's what the plan? There is Batman Returns commentary, right? Was that the plan?
I thought that was for Fans of Power. I took it as Fans of Power.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know if that was like the Batman Returns commentary with us, or if it was something else. But all right, yeah, right on. Whatever. Either or, it's always nice to have her on the show.
Yeah. Well, we got to get her for our Batman Returns commentary anyway, so we'll go for this. If she can make that one too, we'll try and knock them both out. Hopefully,
we'll just double up because we used to do that on Sundays all the time anyway, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, don't mind it ever so often. So, Joe, we will get to the discussion so you can relieve yourself.
if he hasn't already.
Yeah, no, I'm
because no one knows what's going on because his camera's off. He's like, guys, I'm sweating through my mask, but is that really what's going on?
No, I'll be putting it back on in a bit. But no, this one, like I said, we wanted to, like I said, if this movie, like we always said, if this movie is to actually ever happen and come out in 2021, we thought we'd discuss our
Joe. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well, like I said, I'll always try to be optimistic.
Did you not?
The whole point is to.
Did you not see that poster last week? It's happening. All right, come on.
Yeah, they took the vintage Masters Universe logo in black and white.
It's happening. It's
official. Roger Corman's intern, who just got hired 30 minutes ago, could have come up with a better poster than that.
It's official.
It was a lazy poster. But if this is to happen, we figured we'd discuss our top 6 picks for heroic warriors and evil warriors that we think should be in this movie. Now, of course, there's just a ton of characters. We'd love to see so many more, but you can only have so much within a first movie. Maybe if we had sequels, it'd be great to introduce other people. But the ones, obviously, we're not saying He-Man and Skeletor because those are the givens. I'm not even wanting to say Battle Cat and Panther because it'd be nice to see them, but I'm talking about main characters I'd like to see in there kicking ass, doing something, taking some good screen time. So for the heroic warriors, you have to have Man-at-Arms and Teela. Those are it's like a given. You cannot have Masters of the Universe without Man-at-Arms and Teela. Then I started getting to my other picks, and I was wondering, I'm saying things that I'm thinking in my head might be cool. Others might think it sucks, Joe. But I do want Orko. Some people might think, oh, he's worthless. He shouldn't be in it because he's comedy relief for Filmation. But I think Orko would have a great place and presence in that movie if done right, especially to see some kind of magic happening. but I think he would be great to see in that. Then I wanted to see Ram Man because I want to see a good ass kicking Ram Man, somebody strong that when maybe He-Man ain't doing something, you've seen Ram Man, just like bashing into somebody, whether it's through a building, a person, something. I was like, I got to see Ram Man. But then I was like, there's two others. Who would be good to see as for two others? I want to see Fisto just because I think he could be another really awesome ass kicker. So that's 5. But when it came to the 6th one, I picked somebody I thought I'd never pick because I hate this character. And that's Stratos. I was like, I don't like Stratos, but you know what? I think he'd be a perfect role and fit in that movie, especially for having a flying character, somebody that could fly to seek out, do some scouting, along with, like, let's say he engaged in battle with somebody. I could just see him just flying into any of them evil warriors, lifting those suckers up, whether he throws them into a mountain, drops them, whatever. I think Stratos would be an ass kicker as well to be in that movie, and would be a good place to have that flying character that I usually despise just because I just am not a Stratos fan, but I think he'd be great. So those are my 6 heroes. But I'll pass it to Nathan or Tyler. You can do yours and why, and then we can do evil. But those are my 6 picks of heroic warriors.
Nathan, go ahead.
I honestly, I was gonna turn it to you because I was gonna let you guys do your picks and then sort of take the conversation in another way by asking how would you want to approach the film? Because when we think about this, it needs to appeal to the fan base that's stuck around and has been loyal for so long, but you also have to bring in new eyes to it as well. So I didn't really have picks set in mind, but it was more just the question I wanted to pose to you guys of how do you think the movie needs to go to like reach the requirements of appeasing to the hardcore fan base, but also bringing in the new eyes and being like, holy shit, like this is really cool.
Well, Masters isn't something that I ever want to see compared to make it like 300, make it like Game of Thrones. Like, no, make it like Masters of the Universe. We already know what it's been, an established fantastic property, and we know how the origins of it are that have a really good, serious feel. Now, people sometimes want to take the context of Filmation saying, oh, it's just silly, it's corny, it's stupid. Not really. Yes, we know later on, yes, we know we got some of the yuck fest in season 2 as it went on. But early on, it was even serious. All you gotta do is just take that tone and put it in the movie form. Don't insult us, meaning don't make it into a comedy. I don't want to watch Masters of the Universe and be left, oh my God, what a funny joke He-Man just said, or anybody else. No, I don't want that. Sure, there could be some parts where, just to let you off hook, there could be a little, if done properly to with not being out of place, that could be good. But I just want a good ass-kicking action movie with great fantasy, magic, the technology. Make us believe that this world of Eternia is alive now. If we can finally see it transition from the cartoon, the comics or whatever, and now we're going to see this lush, beautiful world of Eternia and all its darkness as well. But don't ham it up. We don't need to have it be funny. But Tyler, go ahead.
Trading the source material with dignity, not trying to turn it into something that it's not. If these people, which I don't know anything about them, I don't know if they're doing their legitimate research or they're just bullshitting and just wanting a gig so they put their name on something and get their names out there. But I mean, look, I'm not saying this because I've spent so much time dedicated to watching and reading this stuff over and over and over and over again. I don't find this property hard to translate to the film. You don't try to make excuses why you got science and sorcery on the same planet. It's just one of those things we just accepted as kids. They didn't try to find a reason to explain it for the most part, other than the vague idea that technology was forgotten and sorcery took over. I know Mark Taylor has a better or a different direction that he wanted to go in. I would be open to hearing more about that when that book of his comes out. But this is not something that has to be overly explained. The only thing that this would really need is like a brief prologue at the beginning of this film to explain to the new audience and to children the presence and purpose of Castle Grayskull. If you understand why this location is so significant, then you're going to understand the importance of He-Man and the importance of Skeletor and why they do what they do. You know, I think that it needs to be, you know, that this is the biggest capture the flag. You know, essentially everyone's either trying to protect it or take it. You know, taking the simplicity of the toy line, and that I mean, some of the best films, as we have said before in private discussions or whatever, are some of the best movies when you're not trying to overcomplicate it with your. Well, we got to overly explain this because people aren't going to understand it. Well, that doesn't make sense. You're not looking at it, and that you shouldn't be looking at it from that perspective. You don't have to explain why Skeletor is an evil asshole, and he needs to be evil. Don't hint about his past, that he's the lost long brother of King Randall, Lord of the Throne, or he's got blue skin, or some other bullshit racist idea, or something like that. He-Man needs to be, you know, the quintessential iconic, you know, uplift hero that young boys and men who see this like, God, he's awesome. Like, I want to be like that. I want a power sword at the toy store. And the men like, I want to go in the gym and start lifting weights like He-Man. You know, or the music. The music has got to help sell the epic scale of when He-Man and Skeletor clash, and when you see Snake Mountain for the first time, the music ought to be giving you goosebumps because they're taking every bit of this mythology, from the heroes to the villains to the vehicles to the locations to the stakes. The stakes have got to mean something. You've got to believe that Skeletor is the biggest threat on this planet. And what are you laughing at?
Because it was said in the chat, I'll go ahead and read it. Needs to have plenty of pod humor. He-Man and Teela go on a road trip across America in the attack track. Prince Adam is played by Adam Sandler.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Netflix latest bullshit.
Exactly.
You know? We're under contract with this asshole. We gotta get them get those dickheads over who just
Plus,
can't get anything right.
I had to break the momentum of what you're flexing and building towards. Tyler will also have his list, but I guess the other question I will pose as well is, when they do this, do you think it's best, as Tyler said, to kind of not explain everything to you, kind of dress it up early on and we're into the film, but also open it up to where it's like, oh, well, here's everybody. Maybe not like have speaking parts for people, but have a visual representation, like Easter eggs, if you will, of like, oh, hey, here's this, and this guy. Like, would it be best to like all encompass, include everybody, or do you think it should be scaled down and just have a smaller roster of characters?
Scaled down, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
We don't. You can make references to the Avions or Avion Wars, or you can make reference to, if they want to bring the 2000 X mythology, Andrenids or something like that. You can make references to all these other characters, or say, hey, look, the acting troupe is coming through. Later this afternoon, King Randall, will you be present to view that? Like their newest actor, they call him Manny Faces. He's the actor of 1,000 Faces. Because
there's so many. Faces. No, really.
Yeah,
it's like
I would not want to see all these guys in one scene in the royal palace. Like, it doesn't have to be like the Christmas special, like one big panty shot of everybody.
Yeah, they can maybe pop up in a sequel to maybe have a little bit more of a role. But yeah, it's like, people were saying, like, of course, do I want to see the Sorceress in it? Yes, but I'm not saying mainly where we're seeing her all the time. If she's in her role in what they do, which shows something with Castle Grayskull, yes, it makes sense. King Randor and Queen Marlena, yes, I'd want to see him. But obviously, I was just trying to get, like I said, that's why we're trying to cut it down a little bit. If we had to really think about main characters you want to see in a lot or having time to shine, that's why we figured we'd cut it to 6 of the heroes and 6 of the villains. And of course, if a sequel comes, sure, we can have others popping up. But yeah, that's why, like you said, you got to trim the fat, because there's too many damn good characters. But it would just be it'd be a brain explosion. Like, it would be too much. It'd be too busy with all them damn characters.
And I think that is the best way to go. You don't want to just throw too much at once, because then you just sort of confuse your general audience, and that's not what you want to do. It would be best to just start with a simple amount, and then if there are sequels, expand upon that. So yeah, Tyler,
and also acknowledge. Oh, real quick, and also acknowledge and realize this is Eternia. We don't want them speaking like they're from Earth with Earth vernacular and slang and sayings and whatever and oh my God, and no, leave that out. This is
kind of like
not
something
Earth.
that was on
that.
Netflix currently. If you want to watch that happy horse shit, you can turn on Netflix right now.
No, I mean, yeah, because I can't say it enough. Just remember, we want this to be feeling like you're escaping from this reality into a world of fantasy. Make us believe that were in another universe, in another place.
Are we all under the impression that this will probably be rated PG-13? I would assume that that's like the target rating for this.
Yeah, I don't think they're going R. No.
Well, no, I know they're not going R, but I was thinking, would that just swing the other way and just be PG simply?
No, something like this, it couldn't be PG because, PG means something completely different than what it meant in the 70s and the 80s. Jaws is PG, but when it came out in the 70s, it's PG because it's not rated R for language, but people are being eaten as blood and water lives all over the place,
and it's the same thing with Clash of the Titans. It's PG, but there's like a boob shot in the beginning. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Hooters. No.
Yeah, but with this, it needs to be like a relatively hard PG-13. Like you need to see, a lot of hand-to-hand combat fights, sword fights, a wide variety of people being knocked all over the place. Beastman needs to be duking
battle scars, blood,
yeah. I mean, no heads being pulled off. But here's the thing: like The Dark Knight was PG-13, and its content was not meant for children. But obviously, with it being Batman, they market the film towards merchandising and wise towards kids. But the movie is not targeted towards kids, much like how Star Wars. It was just the toys were a byproduct because they realized that kids loved it. It was not meant for kids. It was just, here's this epic space fantasy, along with many other, action films that were not really meant. Batman '89 was not really meant for kids. Raiders of the Lost Ark was just a great action adventure. The merchandising is something that's just like, well, we want to get on the action because kids like this too. Well, this needs to be presented as, a great action adventure movie. If you want to market those kids, which obviously Mattel, it's their property. Yes, they need to sell toys with this. But obviously, when you look at some of the finest examples, they were not trying to cater to kids right away, and they made tons of money because they were willing to take a chance on it. And I know people are all about making safe bets nowadays, but honestly, they're here and gone. They don't have a lasting impact. The movies that take a chance, like Heath Ledger's particular Joker, Outside the Norm, it was taking a chance. Left quite a mark. People are still talking about that.
Yeah. Definitely
not the rest of the movie, but that's something that
I mean, you're not wrong. Like that is that's the one constant when it comes to Dark Knight. They're just like, oh well, Heath Ledger, and oddly enough, so many people were so resistant to that at the beginning. So I'm going to stress this, it's just my opinion, no one else's. But with the casting of the underwear model, whatever his name is, Prince Adam / He-Man, like. And it goes to where they casted Robert Pattinson as Batman. It's like sometimes Hollywood knows what they're doing, and at least like wait it out and give it a shot until you see the final product on the screen, and then make your assessment after the fact. Don't be like Joe, don't be like Tyler, and don't just sit here.
Don't tell me that
and pull your pants down and piss all over it. And no, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm just I'm giving you guys a hard time.
Trying to be the social justice warrior here. So now I'm going to grab my mouse collar and smack the shit out of him here and let him know that when we found out Nicolas Cage was cast as Ghost Rider and Channing Tatum was cast as Duke Hauser, a big shot in the head.
Hang on. We also have from the chat from Grim2, and Grim2 makes a great point. It is Sony. Sony does not have the best track record when it comes.
I keep telling everybody, how many episodes have we said? I said Sony.
No, I know, but we need to reiterate that fact that like you guys need to at least be prepared. Like even if your expectations are high for this, Sony is behind it, and it's just that doesn't equate necessarily to good movies. That's just how it is with what they've done. I guess Joe had to go throw up or something.
Let's try to drink.
Kool-Aid.
Oh no, just a little bit of water. Hey, Kevin Sharp, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Kevin.
Don't. What have you put in Tyler's face on lately? I apologize.
Well, speaking of Tyler,
Kevin, put my face on Faker. Which I've already shown, but
yeah, I know you have.
Respond. Yeah.
Sorry.
But I will say this: the next idea I have in mind will not include my face. So.
Wow.
Well, we'll get on to the top 6.
Yes, go ahead.
That's what Joe narrowed it down to. 6 heroes you want in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't pick Man at Arms and Taylor because much like He-Man and Skeletor, they're going to be there whether you want them or not. That's like saying Castle Grayskull is not going to be the film. They're going to be in it. So I picked.
Well, I guess I did it just for. Well, I'm sorry. I guess just for the sake of. I mean, I was just like
choices there, Joe. So.
Well, like I said, if I was to not include or just say they were there, then I thought if I had 6 more, then that would be 8, and I figured it would just be an overwhelmingly a lot. That's the only reason I had to pick them, is just because otherwise there would have been so many. But you go ahead, you do your thing that you got. Go ahead. See, we disagree. We can do that.
Why you did what you did there?
Yeah, there you go. But go ahead.
So anyway, I picked Clamp Champ because because he's one of my favorites, but he's doesn't require special effects. You need someone like Michael J. White come in, hand-to-hand stuff in camera to play Clamp Champ.
Yeah, that would that would actually be really great.
And
I, as dumb as this is to say, you would have that presence, and you could have that agenda to it. So there you go.
What?
I'll leave it to if you were to put Clan Champ in the movie, because it's like the whole Black Panther and all that stuff all over again. You know, like if that's the way they want to go, I'm just saying, if that's the way they want to go, it's like, look, we did this, and we have like this African American heroic warrior, like, and I'm going to say, like, it sucks that we're in a world that you have to do something like that just to be like, oh, look what we did. But
yeah, because people are so quick to forget how ethnic most films are. Anyway.
Yeah. Before Captain Marvel, we never had a strong female lead influence in any sort of action or sci-fi film ever.
Oh, I know, because people have the attention span of a circus monkey. They do not remember anything past what happened last week.
Yeah.
So thank you, Marvel, for shoving it down our throats and clearly stating there are no agendas with the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So
I get it and I understand, but it's just sad that like that's what you have to do to just. But anyway, Michael J. White as Clamp Champ would be that'd be cool. Someone who was it? I think Kevin Sharp actually suggests that he be Zodak. That'd be cool too. Actually,
yeah, I'd be cool with that version of a Zodak. Yeah, absolutely. Because Michael J. White's the real deal. Wesley Snipes is probably a little past his prime to participate.
More than a little. I would hate to admit, but more than a little.
But Michael J. would be my choice for that. But Mossman, I don't think would be, and I would go more towards like the vintage feel, not the Mossman of 2000X, where he can turn his body into various plant things or has waves of plants, but someone who hides in the wilderness, who becomes one with the forest and can hide and is like the heroic spy of and camouflage and things like that, and carries a big mace. And I just think it would be a tremendous character that he wouldn't have to be around the whole time, but there could be times where the evil wars are passing through the evergreen forest. Mossman is on alert, overhears Clawful and Webster talking about something, alerts King Randall. Like, you wouldn't have to be involved heavily, but I feel like that would be a pretty interesting character to throw into the film. I definitely think Fisto. I think it's important for a movie that's going to require a lot of special effects to have characters that are not so heavily influenced with special effects. Like Fisto, the actor playing him, just wears like a green glove over his right hand, and they put it in with motion capture.
Or they could just take the Hulk fist children's toy and spray paint it silver.
Yeah. It's done. It's all fanboys. They complain about anything.
Sorry, just see it in the chat. Kurt Russell is Man at Arms. That would actually be pretty cool.
God, yeah.
That would be cool. I'm sorry. That would be. Most of you probably don't know, but kind of have a huge man crush on Kurt Russell. Like, Kurt Russell to me is probably like my favorite male actor. There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He makes everything great.
He does. Really does.
Yeah. He's the perfect actor. So yeah, I'd be cool with that. Absolutely. I would also like to see Cyclone, because if you're going to do a big special effects movie, Cyclone's about as big special effect as you can get in terms of like the heroic warriors. Plus, visually, just striking. With the color scheme, which I'm sure with the movie they'll probably change the hell out of it. But I just think Cyclone is just is my favorite heroic warrior, and I just think visually he's got the best look of all the heroes because of that color scheme he's got and the radar on his chest. So that's 4. Snout Spout. I just think it's I'm always about mixing it up, and Snout Spout, throwing him into the mix, I mean, that's really mixing it up. A cybernetic humanoid elephant, that is a firefighter, but also is a war that is. I just think what's not to like about that character. I think he could work anywhere in the film with his axe, the jaws of life, and just having the intense pressure of probably 40 fire hoses, impact coming out of his trunk alone, like it just knock everybody on their ass. So that's 5, and the 6th one. I almost kind of feel like just saying this. He popped up with Clan Champ, but Lizard Man. That'd
be different.
He's so different, but he's very simple. And there's someone like Andy Serkis who plays a wide variety of characters, that are not quite human. For him to capture the mannerisms of Lizardman perched on a rock as he's talking to He-Man, about something that's coming, like over the horizon. There's a fleet of Rotons heading to Castle Grayskull from the northwest, or something like that. Like I just think, that's something I could see Andy Serkis doing, like kind of a lizard-like dialect in his mannerism and how he talks. So those are personal favorites, but also kind of, I feel like every member of the Heroic Warriors roster deserves a place in the films, but those would be the 6 that I would choose.
I think maybe it would be cool to have the condensed characters in the main story, and if they were to open it up for a sequel, maybe towards the end, it sort of finds a way in itself to open it up to where you do have the panning shot that had everybody there to sort of Easter egg for everybody. Oh, hey, so if it is successful, they can play that into a sequel. I also saw here in the chat, Kurt Russell would make a better Rio Blast. So
he actually could look like. I could see that. I could possibly see that. Yeah, because all the characters like Tyler was mentioning, believe me, there's all these other characters I'd like. I was just like, in my head, the reason I chose the ones I did was I was like, okay, I know some of these are a little more established for the fans that maybe, like we like to say sometimes, the casual fans, but also the hardcore fans. They know the characters, but then if a sequel comes, then you could start sprinkling in the other characters that we love too. Because believe me, I love them all. Everybody at Tyler said I'd want them in there too. And plus even the picks that I made, I know there's probably people that said I really wouldn't want those. But also Anthony Albanese and Jason Coway, thank you for joining us. But no, there's so many. Like now, I'll just get to the villains. Now, of course, there's the no-brainers, but I'm still going to say it anyways. You do have to have Beastman, and I want my Beastman to talk. I don't want him to be mute, even though mute could be interesting for some people, like how he was like that in the '87 movie, but. I want Beastman talking, but I also want it to maybe be the parts where he's actually using his control that he does, where he can control the creatures and animals. I think that'd be an awesome thing to see in live action form, whatever beast they might have him do something with. I think that could be cool. Evelyn, yes, obviously you have to have Evelyn in the movie. Then you got Trapjaw, because I want to see, it's like, that's the one thing. Don't get me wrong. I love, the vintage toy. I love Filmation, how he would take off and put on the the new contraptions, but I admit in MYP that's the one thing I thought was cool, was kind of how he could transform his gimmicks without taking them off. So I'd almost like to see that in live action form as well. So that's 3 of them so far. Triclops, you gotta have Triclops. Now you think I'd say Merman, and I hate that I'm gonna say this and I want people being pissed, but I just didn't want Merman in the first movie. I know it sounds weird because you think, hey, there could be some great ocean creatures that he could summon, or there could be a part where they go to somewhere around an ocean and he attacks. But it's like, I almost feel like I'd want Merman in a sequel. And I know that sounds bizarre, but I just didn't want Merman in there. But then I wanted a character like Webstor. I would love to see a nasty, kind of skinny, muscular, gangly-like spider creature in that movie. I think it would just be so badass to actually have Webstor in there. And then finally, I wanted Whiplash. I was like, I think Whiplash again. I could just see some good battles with him, whether it's him against Ram Man or Fisto or something. Because I don't know if it's me having Clash of Arms thoughts in my head, but I always want to see.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, which there is. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, that could be kind of badass if you could finally see live action versions of toe to toe with Fisto against Whiplash in one scene. I just think they can make that just go insane in live action form. But those are my 6 picks in a way. Again, it's so hard to choose because there's so many damn good characters. But I'm just thinking of a mix that at least would catch my eye for a first one. But those are my picks.
Outside of like Evelyn and Beastman, like I kind of feel like it's fair game for them to kind of pick, who they would want. But me personally, like I expect Beastman and Evelyn to be in it. I'm fine with Beastman talking, but if he's talking, portray him as confident. You're not going to make these guys anything imposing or threatening. I don't care how big you make them if you portray them as morons. And someone who controls any animal or creature on the planet if he at his beck and call without doing anything except thinking.
You got to be smart. Yeah, you got to be
smart and intelligent. So that's what should make Beastman quite formidable. But Triclops, I want to see Triclops really bad because I want to see a He-Man Triclops sword fight. Trapjaw, and I kind of like the idea of him throwing on the attachments, like if he's in a fight with Man at Arms, and Man at Arms smashes like the claw attachment off. Well, they've been fighting. The Lasertron is over here. He's crawling on the ground trying to get to it so he can then start and just blast out at Man at Arms. I just see that being a bit of a plot device, like building tension in the fight. And plus just seeing a muscular actor in the makeup taking the hook and just, slotting in and hear this cool like sound effect charging up,
No, and I do get you. I know what you mean with that. I guess the reason I kind of went against that is just because I thought, like, let's say they are in battle and they're completely away from wherever the hell it might be. But let's say, I know he has this hook, his belt, and like he could possibly have these attachments on, but I'm just envisioning like if they were engaging in battle and these things just, what if they're falling off? That's why I thought that gimmick of the MYP of it just transforming in and out.
Well, they're not going to be as clunky as the vintage toy is, where you can barely have them on there, and you pick them up and they start falling all over the place. It's not going to be like that.
No, but I just was still thinking, and it could just add to the effect of maybe a lot more things popping in and out at his leisure. And I know that you could say that could be something that's kind of quick and easy, but it still would make it interesting to where, what if now to stop him, they would have to sever off that electronic part of his arm, and then there is not going to be any kind of things that would go in and out. I just thought it'd be interesting just for the transform, but I see what you mean too. It could still be cool to hear the sounds, the drama of him reaching. So yeah, Trapjaw, either way, he's got to be in the damn movie, and another person that's got to look wicked and evil as hell.
Clawful, and he needs to be portrayed in the kind of humanoid brute, like the vintage toy, the classics version, and the Clash of Arms is someone who's
don't oaf him up. Definitely don't oaf him up either.
No, he needs to look like the same size as He-Man in terms of like visually. Like he needs to look like someone who can go toe to toe with He-Man in a fist fight. With the humanoid, tan skin, but the kind of creature like Joe.
Sorry, I was just trying to adjust my mask. My eyes were on fire again.
You guys are all about breaking my momentum here.
No, keep going.
Episode
here. Joe and I are in cahoots. We have planned this from the beginning. We're like, hey, anytime that Tyler
trying to get the jump on me, right?
Starts to get on that high horse and starts riding down the road.
I've been listening.
Joe, you mess with your mask. I just interrupt and say, well, hey guys, what about the Hardee's 2 for $5 roast beef sandwiches?
No, keep going. I am listening.
Yeah,
my eyes are extra on fire.
That behavior on this podcast with the last guy who was on here with us.
Oh shit!
Wait, what?
Ozone constantly interrupting us all the time.
Oh no!
Yeah.
There, I was listening. I apologize. I was not trying to cut you off. It just really my eyes were burning and I couldn't see again. And
No. I'll address the stuff. And I look down. I'm talking. And Joe's sitting there rubbing his head or doing something with his face.
No.
His nose. I don't know what he's doing.
So, well, wait. Am I the Ozone?
I was bullshitting with you. I was making all that up.
You're starting to make me You're starting to make me hurt, like right here in my heart.
Are you kidding? No one is gonna.
Anyway, go ahead with your thought.
I was bullshitting with you, Nathan. No,
I know.
It was a complete joke. I'm just making fun of all the goofs that have been happening, but no, Clawful. I just think he's a personal favorite of mine, and a very imposing villain. It's kind of hard to picture Merman not being featured in it, regardless of what the Rotten Tomato says. I kind of feel like he's a staple.
And I knew that pissed people off because you got to figure you got to have Merman. But
I don't look at it as like it's just kind of hard for me. It's like not including Beastman. Like I just kind of feel like he's been there since the very beginning, part of the first wave of toys.
And that's why we do what we do. I know I'm going to piss people off, but I had to say it. It's just I feel like he could be great in a sequel. And
I don't think you're going to get an influx of hate mail to Nathan or to you because you didn't.
Could you imagine? God damn it, Joe! You didn't say him. That's it. I'm not your friend, Lacey Dean. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, it's like that's it. I'm over. It's done. But go ahead. I'm just sweating my balls off. Sorry. Woo.
Okay, now we get the image of Joe's sweaty balls in our head here.
Well, you know what I mean.
Joe, it was told Family Dollar has oscillating fans for $16.
Ooh, that's too much. Hopefully I can find a cheap one at Dollar Tree.
Joe, if you're going to end up getting a fan at Dollar Tree, you're going to plug it into the wall and your outlet's going to catch on fire.
I'm going to have to try. I can't get no $16 fan.
Oh, my God. If anyone wants to mail Joe a fan, I'll dig up his address so you guys can send it to him.
Sorry. I don't mean to be sweating.
Little pocket once you can just kind of hold in front of your face.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, get the one that will spritz mist the water too.
No, but then that would make the ink on my mask start bleeding, so that would be an issue. But
you would go off camera and lift your mask and then.
We got to get back on topic.
We could probably make life for Joe so much easier if he just actually listened to the common sense that Nathan and I have to offer to him.
Let's
He's probably using a wheelbarrow to go grocery shopping, with no wheel on it. He's just pushing, scraping the sidewalk here. I'll get home at some point here, people.
I don't listen for nothing. You're right.
I don't need your damn charity. Stick it up your ass.
I got a square wheel. Clunk, clunk, clunk. As I throw, it's just clunk. Like this.
We need to get Joe the luchador mask. It would probably still be kind of hot during the summer months because I remember vividly going to a SmackDown event in our local area and wearing a luchador mask. I don't know why.
Was that the one where you and Keith didn't want to be seen, and you guys? That's when you and I were pissed off at each other.
Yeah. You got the front row seats, and you took that one chick to the event. Yeah, Keith and I were sitting in the nosebleeds, and we had the luchador masks, and we were kind of sweating for a little bit, and honestly, it's because we had to work that day, and he was the manager of the store, and I was the assistant manager, so we were wearing our shirts and ties, but oddly enough, the masks, there was a purple mask and a yellow mask, and we had coordinating shirts, so we just went in there with shirts and ties and a luchador mask and went and sat. And after time, it got too hot, and we had to. So Joe, I sympathize with you. I didn't take my pants off though.
Oh, yeah, you gotta do it sometimes. And already in the chat room, everybody's like, "Man, Merman's a must." Joe's smoking crack.
Yeah,
no Merman.
Joe is smoking crack. I'm gonna throw that. To me, when I think about what they need to do with the movie, I kind of look at with the Filmation intro. I feel like all of those characters that are present in that intro they definitely need to be included into the film, because that is the way that you appeal to the hardcore fan of all right, well, this is an introduction. I remember this. I remember blah, blah, blah.
No, it's true. I agree with you. It's just like I said, there's so many of the original, figures and people in the cartoon, like I said, that should be in that movie. And I do understand that. And it's almost like how, Tyler said, of course, there's ones that are established that obviously should be in there. And then he brought in his others, which were some from later on that some fans might not know. But still, there's still awesome characters to have. And I guess that's why, for me, in my head, the whole thing with Merman is, there's so many damn good things that I know if they put them in, they're just going to fucking make it they're gonna make him a joke in that first movie or do something stupid. And where I see him doing something badass as well, whether if it, let's say it is in the first or even in the sequel, a scene where maybe there has to be something that has to be acquired from somewhere around the ocean or in the ocean, and that's when he could finally make his appearance, have this badass thing, whether it's him doing something, controlling the waves, controlling creatures, riding in on some insane thing, whatever it may be. I love his debut or his appearance to be impactful. And you're right, he probably should be in the first movie. I just know that they're gonna piss all over and do something
if they're
stupid.
gonna make him a joke, they'll make him a joke in the sequel. So no matter what,
well, I mean, that's what I was hoping is. No, true, but I was hoping that in my head, again, this is me in a perfect world. Like, let's say they had an amazing first movie, and then here comes the sequel, and like, okay, now it's time. Let's bring in Merman and maybe do him some justice. But like you said, they might not do that either. Whether he's in the first or the second movie, they just might do something stupid. I'm scared that he's the one character in my head that they're gonna mess up. I don't know why, but I really have that.
That's the one.
You're not worried about Skeletor, but tell it wisecracks and jokes and
no. I mean,
the camera. Like, imagine like they have like some asking like, hey, did you ever see like Scott Hall at Cut Promise? I wonder how like Skeletor do that, where he goes like this all the time, and when he walks into the scene, he does the surfer guy thing, you know?
No, but you're right. I mean, of course, I'm worried that they'll mess
shows
up.
He acts like Buff Bagwell and does, you know, here comes Skeletor.
Oh God. Man, yeah, the Buff Bagwell taunt's one of the best.
No, but you're right. I mean, I guess you're right. I'm always concerned they're going to mess up Skeletor or He-Man or all the main characters.
The purpose of this conversation is if there's idiots that suddenly said, hey, we're going to do something reputable and it's going to actually please people and not just, you know, we're going to come through and micromanage and make this silly. Oh, make that hooker. Don't want to
exactly
over here.
Exactly. I mean, look what they did with Spider-Man. Like,
that is why we're doing it, though. You're right. That is why we're saying this. We're just saying, like, all these characters that we're mentioning, we're just saying why we'd want them and what kind of justice we'd like done for them.
Yeah, they're going to make all these characters. They'll make them all look. The villains will look like a bunch of pussies, and the heroes will not be taken as legitimate heroes because Sony's behind this. We don't believe anybody who has been attached to this film for the last 15, 10, 20 years is looking at this property as a great opportunity to make a great, impactful, kick-ass film. That selling toys would be a byproduct of this. This has the opportunity to really be an impactful and memorable film whenever it's released, whatever time of year. There's so much potential. It's not because we're biased and we're doing a podcast strictly on this property. It truly has the elements of people walking out of that theater and people talking about it. The girls honking over, you know, the men or wanting to be like Tila or Evelyn. And the young boys want to reenacting. All right, you're doing it to me again here.
Oh, what? Right. What? No one said anything. What?
Nathan's like.
No, I think that the way that you're looking about it, it's like that's a bygone era. Like, and we talked about this before. Like, Avengers Endgame did a shitload of money, right? But it died off pretty quick. That's the way that this works now. Like, you got to make that money opening weekend, second weekend. After that, like, it's fair game, but you have to make that money back in those first 2 weeks. And
I blame that on the fact that because we've got so many damn superhero movies that it's just, okay, now the next one. This is something unique in its own, where there's nothing else to compare it to.
I mean, there is, but at the same time too, like, we're talking about a property that has had a few animated incarnations and one live action feature film that many, not everybody, but like the general viewpoint from the general public is like, well, this is the thing that tanked this because it was making millions of dollars hand over fist and it was the most popular thing. And then the movie came out and it all went downhill from there. So
that's the perspective of the casual He-Man fan. Not even.
I know that, but I'm saying, like, when this comes out, you're fat. All right, let's say like this goes into production. A trailer comes out, and you guys watch it, and everyone here in the chat watches it, and everyone on the org watches it, and everyone of this fan base consumes it, and they're like, there's a good percentage like, you know what, this is shit. I'm not gonna go see it. The entire point of doing this too is to appeal to you guys, but also to appeal to a general audience that's gonna make it more money. That's the problem. And this whole thing is you have to find that balance. And it's how it is with the Marvel films now. Like, it's exceeded expectations for a general movie-going audience, but for Tyler, the guy that has read comic books most of his life and has been consumed by it and entertained by it, like, he starts to fall out of that. So it ends up like casting you out, but still appealing to them. You have to find that balance.
But I feel like that balance can be made because, as when Val was on here last, like, there is no preconceived notion with the mass audience. Like, kids, teenagers, and most adults, if they know anything about He-Man, is that they remember the toy line and that there was a cartoon, and that's about as far as it goes. So it's an empty palette.
Yeah,
nothing but a clean slate to work with. Like,
yes.
It's not other than if they're listening to all the goofy shit on YouTube where they think He-Man is gay or it's being made a mockery of. You got that working against it. But for the most part, you could throw in a character like Spycore into this mix, and only fans like us go, "Oh, that's awesome." Whereas everyone else, they're not going to think of, "Oh, Spycore, he was that really lame ass episode of the games." You know?
And I'm saying, like, that's what you have to work towards. Like, if they throw bits out to you guys, you're like, "Oh, this is awesome." They also have to find a way to work it into the general movie audience to be like, "Oh, well, that's cool too." Find a way for them to also appreciate it as much as you appreciate it, and that's hard.
Well, not necessarily, because the character of He-Man / Prince Adam, that should be relatable to most guys anyway. You know,
I mean,
you know, to most guys, and then of course
you're not wrong, but it's also just the changing of the times, and as much as that is hard for people to digest, like, people are way more sensitive nowadays.
Okay.
It's just,
but because of that, all right, to touch on what you just said there,
yeah,
the controversy around The Last Jedi, where people are either claiming it's a shit film. Well, why is it a shit film? Oh, because you guys just don't like having, you know, a lot of ethnicity represented in Star Wars, which is complete bullshit.
No,
you like having a female lead. Like, that's bullshit too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bad film.
Yeah, it wasn't written well. It wasn't portrayed, like, the way they went about their storytelling, as none of it just ultimately didn't make sense.
Yeah, and something like this, as much as people on the internet try to find some way of finding something or claiming He-Man is gay, is a joke, not in the sense that they find him a relatable character because he's you know, a prince who has to maintain a secret or whatever the case may be. You know, he's made it as a joke. You know, as you know, because they don't like how he looks or whatever the case may be. This itself, like, when Lord of the Rings came out, I think there was a lot of people who clearly didn't know anything about it. I didn't know much other than I knew there was books, and I was intrigued by its fantasy. It should look pretty cool. I didn't know who the vast array of characters were.
Right.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So I watched Two Towers. So I haven't read the book. Return of the King, didn't read the book. I only read part of Fellowship, and that's all I knew. So just because the trailers looked really cool, it took the source material seriously. I was there opening day and fell in love with Lord of the Rings. Same thing with Star Wars. You know, Star Wars had nothing. Now, most kids probably weren't aware of, like, Flash Gordon, at least not to a certain extent. Nothing about Darth Vader other than he makes his epic entrance, and you're sold on the visual and that this character's taken seriously. I'm not saying He-Man has to be like Star Wars. Lord God knows, Joe and I have said it plenty of times. But if you come at it as like, look at this guy, look at this hero over here, look what he can do, look how he carries himself. You know, you respect, like, just showing them what it really should be, and not pandering and catering to. Look, everybody, we cast a black guy as Man-at-Arms, so we're pandering here. Oh, look, we made Tila a lesbian. Oh, isn't that great, people? Ignore all that, because stuff like that really is clearly there's an agenda, and people can see through it pretty clearly. You know, it's just if you want to cast a black actor to play Rain Man, I could care less. Cast the right person for the actor. So the pandering stuff and ignoring all the social justice bullshit, out the door. You know, if they really care. That's why I feel like this could easily work in a time where people are looking for reasons to say, hey, look, we're helping out this group. Hey, look, we're helping out this group, without actually saying it. You know, oh, look, women's rights. We've cast, we're making Tila a heavier hitter in this movie than He-Man, because it's all about girl power and all that other horse shit that they're shoving down their throats, as opposed to just writing a great female character.
But Tyler,
like Tila.
There's not been a strong female lead presence ever in film. I have to keep throwing it out there.
I know. And if people all the sarcasm when Nathan says that,
there's never
at all.
But Tyler, there's never been a strong African American lead in a comic book movie like ever.
Oh, I know. I mean, I seem to recall there was something with a guy that killed vampires. I heard was based on some kind of maybe an indie graphic novel or something. But that has nothing to do with.
I don't know what you're talking about. Even though those were like the same properties that own the characters. Tyler,
what the hell do we know? We're just fanboys podcasting from the confines of.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Tyler. It shows how sometimes people can be on the same wavelength, because you brought up Lord of the Rings. That's something I was going to say, because I was going to say that, not everybody in the world read those books. And I remember when those movies came out, somebody like my sister who hates fantasy, hates it. She loved those movies. There was people that you'd never think would enjoy Lord of the Rings, loved it. And they went into it, and any of the creatures, characters, settings, places, anything that was going on, you accepted it, you loved it, and you didn't question and say, "Oh God, that was stupid." Oh, what that creature did.
Exactly. That in Star Wars, and it's not to say it needs to be done like this, but these are two properties that when you're introduced to Saruman, you don't know too much.
You don't
about
question
his You just accept the fact that he is now turned on Gandalf the Great, and that's all you need to know. Well, when Skeletor is introduced, we don't need a backstory. Not even that he's from Infinita. Just show that this is the bad guy. He wants power because he's a prick and he's an asshole, and he'll kill anybody in his way to get it.
And any of the people that any of the people that grew up with masters that loved it, like us and everybody that's listening, we're not going to question what we see. And anybody new that's going into that, all you got to hopefully let people understand and know is this is fantasy. That's why I keep saying this is not
and the performances just show themselves. Like when we go back to The Dark Knight, when that movie came out, and people I knew for a fact were not comic book fans, they were going to see the performance of obviously Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was the big talk. So people who didn't know anything about Batman or the Joker or read a comic book were going to see it because the performance of Heath Ledger's Joker was getting so much notice. It was taking itself seriously. This could work too if you hire actors who are actually taking this stuff seriously. And honestly, people, we know we're not going to get anything like this. We're speaking as just devoted fanboys that feel like there is potential here, but we are quite confident we are not going to get not even a substandard He-Man film from those jerk-offs at Sony. We're just not going to. We're doing this for our own entertainment and our own benefit, and to give you guys...
saying it in hopes that, like I said, they could be listening. But that's why I said, when we're talking about this, that's why we're trying to let you know, don't make it Earth-like. Don't have them speaking like that. Don't joke up all the characters, especially the evil warriors. I mean, if there's one thing, as much as the mocking of the 87 movie got, when you think about the evil warriors that were in that movie, they didn't dumb them down. There was not slapstick humor, and that doesn't need to be done in this movie as well. And plus, remember, this is a world of fantasy, so you already got the Masters fans hooked. But any of the new fans who are just wanting to go see a good fantasy movie, they'll go into there, and if it's done properly, they'll just welcome it with open arms and say they won't question if, like, they did see somebody like Spikor in there, or if they seen Jitsu, or if they seen Ninja, or if they seen any of these characters wondering, well, God, that's a weird looking character. You're not going to question it because you understand this is a world of fantasy and it's not Earth, and that's why it can work. If people, like I said, went into Lord of the Rings not knowing a damn thing about it and loved it, this can be done with Masters of the Universe as well. Like I said, it's its own established property with so much rich history of all the locations, the vehicles, the magic, the people, the characters, everything. Just do it justice. That is why we do it. Like you said, are people from Sony listening to this podcast? Probably not. If they are,
Joe, you don't know that. The cult of Motto has a reach.
Yeah, but if they are, that would be great. And I still got people in the chat room saying, no, Merman joke. They're freaking out. So I told that pissed me.
Well, that's the important thing of this show. And I kind of like the fact that you guys chose this as a topic, because the chat's just been like boom, 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 boom. Like, and that's the ultimate goal of this show, is for you guys to talk about it, discuss about it. Agree, disagree, whatever.
Your interest in the property, whether you agree, exactly.
Work your brain, which is what I was trying to do, just like throwing stuff out to Tyler, because I kind of want to do that sometimes. Play that other part and just like, but what about this and this? Because this is how the industry is built. This is what it has to appeal to. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Tank Tops? Kind of thing. It needs to be thrown that way. And as Tyler said, it's Sony doing it, so there's no real faith behind it necessarily, but if it turns out well, then it'll be fantastic. But expectations are low, at least across the board on this panel. I don't know how the chat really feels about it because they haven't specified. But
I can breathe again, so I'm putting my mask back on. Sorry about that. Damn, it's just not been a good day.
There was a point when Tyler was like getting on his stuff, and I just hear Joe. You just hear like a.
I hear like the.
Just like a scratching and like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, what is going on?
No, that was me drinking
it sounds
water.
Like Randall's watching that porn in a clerks.
There was nothing perverted going on, listeners, or anybody else.
Joe, what are you doing over there? Watching children's programming.
I was drinking some water.
Yeah, he's drinking in Backdoor Sluts 9.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Well, that's
one of that list like porno names that Randall reads off in Clerks.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, you might as well just stick around. I mean, I don't know how much you know Masque, but you might as well, because it's probably not going to be a big spotlight on Masque, and we'll go into questions right after that.
I got to go to the bathroom. I don't want to pull Tyler.
I got to go to the bathroom, Daddy. God damn it.
You guys, you do your conversation. I'll be back. Okay.
Well, go ahead, T-Rex. If you want to start off, your thoughts on Masque.
I feel like this character is someone I honestly would rather not know his like definitive past. Like I'm curious, if Larry DeTaylor ever had like a kind of an idea of a backstory for this character, because if you've listened to his interview on House Chakotay that's on the DVDs, where he states that Masque came out last, Chakotay came first, and then the first because it was done as like one episode, which is essentially part 2. He has to come up with the first part and create the Masque character. So Masque came later, and it's almost like he may have just been nothing more than just a gatekeeper, so to speak, and from conception wise. But the character is so well written by Larry DeTaylor in his dialogue. Like he just adds so many depths to this character, and we're not given a whole lot, but that's what makes him so intriguing. Plus, not to mention the very demonic, robotic, metallic sounding voice that Alan Oppenheimer did, which scared the piss out of me as a kid. But one thing I will say this, and because when I got older, because I didn't know what the term meant when I was a kid, but when he refers to Chakotay as his mistress. Well, when I saw this in high school, I thought, well, mistress, like we know the term mistress is someone that you sleep with on the side, or something that's not. It's like a casual sexual partner almost that just sleeps only with you, kind of thing. So obviously, I know that was not the term of what he really meant, but when he's talking to Trapjaw, saying, I'm trying to locate the pyramid of my mistress. You just kind of feel like, well, is Masque really the one in charge here? Now, we also see too in the storyboards that James Hintock has on his Professor He-Man YouTube channel, gives us a cut scene that was at least storyboarded, where Masque is unleashed, and the Pyramid of Darkness rises up out of the sand, and Chakotay comes to him in spirit form and commands him that you're supposed to keep this place guarded, keep others away until the right time, and he bows down to her. So clearly she's running the show. But having not seen that, you watch this episode thinking, Masque sounds like he's kind of running the show altogether, almost.
And what sucks is that the thing is, I keep saying I'd love it if Dushin can be able to animate what we've never seen. Like you said, the stuff that we've seen, storyboarded out. How great would that be if he could add that and they can make like a little extended version of that first part of the House of Chakotay?
It's fascinating because James added like the perfect music and the sound effects to all of that, and Dushin had anything to do with it or all of it. I just. It's on James' channel, so I assumed he did a lot of that. So, Dustin, if you had anything to do with that, I give you credit for that too. But I've watched that video many times because I was so intrigued by adding that extra level, because that changes the dynamic of Masque's character, or how he's portrayed in part 1. If you get him dropping to his knees and holding up his arms and like,
sure,
yes,
sure.
I'm offering my services to you, and in using this book, they have the classics bio, and then they have a description of what he did in the episode of Information. But they the bio they give him here, and I can't remember. I don't think Masque was given a bio. I think when we got the figure, I think, and maybe one of those bios that Danielle had worked on.
Okay.
I don't know. I may be wrong on that one. Maybe I have no idea. But in this, they have like his mask was an item of Eldor and was stolen. And then he was also the teacher of Count Marza, according to this bio that was written for the character. I definitely think that the character is someone who's been around a long, long time. But I almost kind of thought of like when his mask is pulled off by Orko and He-Man severs it in half, and he just falls to pieces, it just kind of evaporates, almost as if like the mask itself was like that was mask, like it was just the mask was taken on a form, and if you destroy the mask itself,
because it makes you wonder. It does make you wonder the whole origin of the mask itself. Meaning, like, let's say, what if Masque at one time was, let's say, a great sorcerer, possibly, and somehow through some weird way, his soul and essence was trapped within that mask, and that's his only way of being and existing. And if that's broke, snapped, how you seen with what He-Man did, then he just dissipates. Because it's kind of like, in a way, it's a sad thing to think. This is him. Once it's on, bam, it forms the body. He has a body. He has a life form, if you will, that he can use and control. But once that's snapped, it makes you wonder the origin of what could have created Masque. That's why we like the character. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said something. And that made me think. Like when you said set, I almost thought like maybe if he was, I mean, I picture kind of Chakotay's probably had like millions of followers, and they were like constantly like sacrificing themselves to the sleeping beast and dying in her honor and things. I could see Masque as like in his life as an actual living being, probably like her lover, and he cheated on her, and as punishment, she destroys his physical form, takes away his looks, and puts his soul in this mask. And he lives strictly to serve her, and is all about protecting the House of Darkness and doing anything he can to bring her back to I guess her actual living form, because she's pretty much a ghost. They're
both in kind of, in a way, what if they both were cursed? What if somebody cursed them both? What if there was some kind of love triangle? What if something happened where somebody put a curse upon her to make her trapped in the House of Chakotay in spirit form, and now Masque is trapped within only this mask, and maybe there's a way that, yes, they have to, when he's able to rise the House of Chakotay, but they're trying to find a way of bringing their life essence and their form back together to be together. Yeah, maybe they were both cursed. It's so damn interesting.
Almost like Lord Tyrion and Lady Valtura, like a very powerful couple that thrive on being evil, and and this is their punishment, essentially, like playing off of that they're separated from each other. She's a ghost. He's actually trapped in this mask, and he can only obtain physical form if the mask is intact. With I guess if it, I was trying to explain it. I mean, it's very, like really have to stop thinking about it much more in depth. But yeah, I think, and that doesn't over-explain it, but I would want them to be nothing but pure evil. Like I would want them, if they obviously were lovers, and we don't need to go into graphic detail about, because this is He-Man. You don't need to go into sexuality and stuff like that. But putting them as a couple that were vanquished from probably killing off innocents and feeding them to the sleeping beasts for the pure idea of like, you're worshiping us, we're in charge here, that kind of thing, and making people believe that we must offer our children to them, like in the Beastmaster. When Rip Torn's Mayax is taking people's children and sacrificing them in the name of R. I could see these two doing this in the House of Darkness, and then greater forces come in. They vanquish her and turn and destroy her, and she's nothing more than a spirit. He's nothing more than what he was, trapped in a mask.
And they had to make sure they were separated, because what if they were just some imposing force back in ancient times? And if they were to gain physical form once again, their power would be like almost unstoppable. That's what's so fun about those two damn characters. I mean, we got such a, just very limited, but it makes you think what could happen if they'd expand upon the story, and if they could have popped up in MYP, and if we could have heard more of a backstory. That's what's great about some of these one-off characters. It gets your juices going to where you can create a story and then, hell, just go with it. It makes it a lot more interesting for characters that obviously just were one-offs, basically.
Yeah, and good writing in a 22-minute episode gives us, that's the importance of why we emphasize, or why I like to emphasize Filmation over MYP. This story of House of Cody Part 1 and 2, which you can count as 2 episodes or 1 episode, gives you so much mystery. It's like watching the first Alien film. When they walk into the ship and you see the space jockey and all these eggs and all over the ship. It's not explained, but what is that? Where did that come from? And Prometheus sucked balls, so that film does not even exist to me.
Never seen it.
But keep it like that. It's a piece of shit.
Okay.
But when you watch Alien, you're left wondering about all these things that are unexplained, but they're not part of the story. But it's so intriguing and keeps you thinking, and you sit and wonder about it so much. Me and my dad would do that all the time. Anytime we watch Alien or Predator 1 and 2 or The Thing, things that aren't really explained, but they're just kind of shown to you. And you move on, but you're like, wait, how long was that there, you think? And that's how these two are. This dynamic between these two, that there is some sort of relationship between these two. Because when Masque is gone, it's pretty much it's Chakotay's show, that he's just trying to rise the House of Darkness and not mentioning Chakotay by name at all. Refers to her as his mistress. That is it. So as far as we know, Masque is the one running the show. And because he's outside the pyramid, we don't know what his thoughts are, other than he wants to bring her back, but to serve her, or for his purpose, or just because he's an evil prick and wants to unleash pure evil on everybody. We don't know, and that's what makes it so fascinating. And honestly, it's probably best it's not really explained. Unless it was Larry DeTiller's definitive, idea of what he had in mind for these characters, which, unfortunately, God bless him, we will probably never get that. However, he said there was interest in bringing her back for MYP, but I think they shut that down. The powers.
And it just shows how it isn't something. It just shows how quickly we sat there and spitballed between the both of us in that quick little session and almost created a new story. It's like, hey, we might have to co-write and have to have Karsten or somebody maybe draw up a mini comic, and maybe we could have some kind of cool origin with Masque.
We get Kevin, because Kevin likes Lord Masque and Chakotay as well too. So,
all right, Kevin, damn it, you're going to draw it.
Yeah, I just
shit.
So that's what made.
Sorry, I'm here.
I'm sorry, here, pal. It's live. This is what makes this more exciting than watching Monday Night Raw. You may not know what the hell's going on, but by God, you can't turn away from watching it.
Yes, I don't know how the fuck that happened. Sorry, it's been a while since I dropped the camera. All right, shit. Okay, go ahead. What the fuck?
Anyway.
Okay, I'm sorry, people. And I tried to watch my mouth the whole episode. That was the first, I think, bombs I dropped. Go ahead, Tyler.
Does it matter at this point, Joe? I mean,
it doesn't matter, Christ. But where I don't even know what I was saying. I think I was.
No, I'm just saying, like, it just burns me up when people want to shit on Filmation, or feel like there's not enough here, so we have to make up our own stories, and just, oh well, that character they really didn't do much with him, so I'm going to create my own, shitty fan fiction or something like that, and not really treat it as like, what, there's a good idea here. If you're a great storyteller, you can take a great idea and run with it. And there's so many great ideas that unfortunately did not get utilized much. And pretty much how Rami London said too, like he just wrote it. It wasn't really thought of that much more in depth. But when we look at it, we feel like there's more to this than what they are realizing, because they didn't write it with the intention of a vast backstory. But we look at it as like, there's some interesting things here, just based on because the writing is so good.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. That's what I mean. So, yeah, we'll probably, like I said, maybe me and Tyler we're going to try to do some spitballing off of this episode at one time too, but I really would like to do some kind of story with Chakotay and Masque. I think that'd be a fun mini comic.
I think it would be, and that's something, Kevin has told me too, he would love to do like a fan comic project. And that's something that I wanted to throw out to people that if listeners of this podcast are interested in seeing like a fan comic, not something that would be sold in stores or anything that would piss off Mattel or something like that, but like a fun fan project with Kevin's artwork in a story, probably like just as a fun project, like a 14-page comic book. I don't know if it'd be released digitally or something like that, but
well, just to let you know, before we get into the questions, which we'll do probably right now, just want to say Kevin Sharp said, "I'd draw it." So, all right, Kevin, if you're up to it, we're going to do it. Town and I going to write it. You're going to draw that sumbitch. So, well, that's our discussion on Masque. So now we'll probably hit it up to the chat room if you guys have any questions. I know Zentron said he did a quote way earlier. I missed it. If he's still here, hopefully he'll pop it back.
Well, hey, before we even get to any of that, I do have the Brad Collins questions from 2 months ago that I was supposed to read off. All right, here we go. Hey, Nate, I had a couple questions for tonight's show. This was months ago. Keep that in mind. And thought you could put the guys on the spot. Like I don't do that enough already. What are your thoughts on why Merman is left off the Castle Grayskull box art? All the other original 8 are featured, including Zodak, but no Merman, who is featured so prominently on the original mini comics.
I don't think it was not a hidden agenda. Just Rudy O'Brien just picked probably characters he wanted or who was asked, and just pretty much just drew him like that. I didn't find it offensive because he's not on the original box art for Castle Grayskull. I didn't see it as a problem. I don't think there's really much of an in-depth answer to give to you on that one, other than it was something they said, here, put these guys on there, or choose from this roster of characters and put them in a big battle scene. It's I can't imagine being any more. It'd be hard to picture someone at Mattel's like, I don't like Merman. He's just lame. Don't put him on there, or you're fired.
Was Joe on the board?
Joe?
Huh? Wait, what happened?
No, I was going to say, was Joe on the board of Mattel? It's like, no, we can't have Merman on there.
Isn't that weird? I just shit all over Merman, and what are the odds that he had a question about Merman, why he wasn't there? I don't know, maybe because there's no water. I mean, really, I have no clue. You're right. It's probably what they told him to draw.
Well, plus, if you watch Filmation and NYP, Merman is constantly running around on dry land fighting it out, too. So I don't like the idea that he's got to be stuck in water. Otherwise, he'd be made into a joke like Aquaman does, because people like to shit on Aquaman unless Jason Momoa is playing him.
Yeah, they had their reasons, but no, you're right. He would have looked cool on it, but yeah, it sucks. What other one did he have?
It says here, also call me so, but only just realized the vintage Evil Lynn's Mace wand is glow in the dark. Did you guys realize this? I feel Mattel maybe dropped the ball on advertising it.
I actually never knew that as a kid. Never knew it. I mean, Scareglow is the only thing that I knew. Oh my God, that thing glows! But I never knew that about Evil Lynn. I think that was years later. Probably when I got online, when I was like, "Oh my God, it glows!"
Yeah. Well, Brad Collins was like, as I was starting there, dropped advertising it as a glow in the dark product on the card because at the time they were all the rave. So.
Well, hell, she didn't even get her own commercial. Her toy's not even featured in one commercial in the States. So, it's. I think it's more or less like it's a female character. Boys aren't going to really respond prominently. We'll put her out there, but that's I'm sure it was just a fun little bonus. But because she was a female character, they probably just didn't put that extra effort in advertising. That her wand glowed in the dark, or even mentioned on the card back. So, I'm sure there's probably other reasons. But.
Yeah, glow-in-the-dark features were something I freaked over back then, from stickers to anything. So,
and I mean Joe's still doing it now with the customized slime they did up there.
Yeah, there you go.
Turn the lights off. Yeah. I mean, hey, link down below. Hit Joe up for a custom. But there you go, Brad. Finally, it took about 2 months, but we got around to it. It's
all right. Yeah, it took a while, but thanks for those, Brad. We do appreciate that. And, okay. Question from Adam Gabbert. Joe, Tyler, Nathan, between 1 and 10, with 1 sucks and 10 for excellent, what do you rate for the movies? For Secret of the Sword, the 87 motion picture movie, the first NYP, Adam Gets a Sword, or Christmas special? Well, Secret of the Sword, I give that a 10 for excellent. Love that damn thing. When I seen it as a kid, when I seen the 87 movie, I don't know, 3, But no, it's like Tyler's like, God damn it. But as for now, no, I give that a nice 8.
He shouldn't even have to ask that question. If he's listening to this podcast as much as he has, what do you rate the 87 movie? Like,
you know what? I feel like I feel like Adam, he gets it. He's like, I'm gonna throw these questions out because, you know what? We got to make Tyler squirm in his seat a little bit.
MYP for the first where Adam gets a sword. I enjoyed. I give that probably an 8. The Christmas special. I'm a sucker for Christmas stuff back in the day in He-Man, so I give that a 9. So there you go. It's go ahead. What about you, Tyler?
Well, 87 movie gets 10. Secret of the Sword, I give it an 8. And MYP, I loved it when I first saw it, but I could not tell you the last time I went back and rewatched it. But I give it maybe a 6.5, close to 7.
Okay. What about the good old Christmas special? Hate it as much as James E. Talk, or what?
No, I mean, and I got to see it as a kid because I only saw a commercial for it on the USA Network, which I found pretty much the exact ad that they used to advertise it on YouTube, which was the only time I saw it. So I didn't see it till I was in 11th grade, and it was not enjoyable, but it's an easy watch. I mean, but it's not something I go through, so I give it a 5.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
What about you, Nathan?
Oh, I thought you were just gonna ignore me altogether, Joe. Thank you.
No.
Secret of the Sword, I'll give an 8. 87 movie. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna pull a Joe here in a way because Tyler relentlessly for so many years, like, look at this scene, look at this, look at that, and I like gave him so much shit for it, but honestly, it is the movie that I've watched the most in the last couple years. So, Tyler, there you go. I would give the 87 movie, honestly, probably a 9 because it appeals to me in so many different ways. And I won't go into that any further because Tyler would want me to, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, because it's making my nipples hard already. It's like, oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh, God, don't. Why?
That
pulling a Mel Gibson. Joe's like,
all right. Those of you guys out there, let's lift our cups and promptly take a sip of our drinks. We're playing that game. You guys are playing the Fans of Power drinking game. Take a drink.
Yeah. Am I still on? Am I here? How do you know? Am I?
Yeah, you're here. You're here.
Your camera is. I'm wondering on the hell you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Man, now I got to scroll up a little bit like Joe does. NYP. When NYP came out, I think I've said it before on this podcast. Man at Arms from NYP was my first eBay purchase because I found everyone else in the wave, but there was no Man at Arms for whatever reason. So I got him on eBay first. But that first episode was exciting, and I look back on those times fondly. So I'm going to go ahead and just give that a 10, just based off of just pure nostalgia. I think about there were a lot of happy memories at that time because you think about NYP and like Tyler and I becoming friends, and it was sort of this shift in my friendships with everyone else that I had because like Tyler was different in the fact that he brought out a lot more of my past as a kid of stuff that I collected. So being friends with him and like growing with him and seeing that and seeing like his passion for He-Man, and when NYP came out, like that just
cool.
No, it's gonna sound weird, but it rubbed off on me. I know that sounds really I know
question.
not like Joe's done that enough with his tissues and everything, but I'm
Joe
just saying, but hang on, we're getting sentimental here.
Yeah,
but
I like that. I like this though.
But that period of time, like seeing how passionate that he was when NYP came out, I remember vividly. We said this before, also on the podcast, that I was like, "You have all the Filmation episodes on tape, most of them." I'm like, "Bring them over. I have 2 VCRs. We'll copy them over." Just all of those times of doing that. And like while that's going on, like we're hanging out, like playing WWF SmackDown doing Hell in a Cell, 2 out of 3 fall matches and whatever on PS. Like, I look back on that fondly all the time. So
no, that is nice. You don't always like hearing.
Yeah, so I'll give that a 10. And as far as the Christmas special, I've only watched that a handful of times, so I'm not really gonna give that a rating because I don't want to annoy. I probably wouldn't go as low as Tyler did, but I just no rating. But NYP,
well, I give it 5 simply because it's. I mean, yeah, it's not great, but it's also not like it's not the Star Child or some of the other abysmal episodes of Filmation. It's fun to see all those character appearances, but it's pretty hokey. It is, but yeah, I give it a 5.
But it's weird how all of this has sort of come full circle, just based off of my friendship with Tyler and going through the NYP and hunting for figures and going out and finding like the accessory, the flight pack, the infamous flight pack. And just all of that stuff, and to sit here now and be on this podcast and to know that, because Tyler has always talked about Masters, so to see him here today, whether you like it or not, but to have 20 to 30 people here every week watching live, and as those views grow for each episode during the week or the downloads, what have you, it's just a really cool experience. So it's cool. I like that. Yeah, it's cool to see. It's funny to see how all of this just manifested, and man, like it's something special. So
I appreciate you saying all that, dude.
Well, sorry that I inflated his ego even more, everybody.
No, that's a great story. I want to say one thing.
To capitalize on this, when Nathan first came over to my place for the first time, and I had all my He-Man toys, my G.I. Joe's, Turtles, Nathan was notorious for just like making fun of people. I was like, oh my god! Like I didn't expect him to actually come up. Like I was going to meet him.
Well, the other thing too is Tyler was super nervous about anyone seeing like what he had on display, because you got to think we're in high school at the time, or you know, like junior, senior year, about to graduate, and for him to have all that on display for him was kind of embarrassing, because we're looking at this is like early 2000s, and he's just like on the fritz about it. And I'll let Tyler continue the story. He let me come over to his place where he had everything displayed, and go ahead.
Oh, quickly, I was going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I mean, the code word was chimichanga. I'm sorry, I have to leave.
You're fine, dude.
Okay,
we'll wrap it up.
All right, no, you guys keep going, because Zentron had his movie quote and a lot of questions.
Joe, we'll do this. If you can, go ahead and mute your mic and then come back after you're done.
But you guys continue. You guys.
Yeah, no, we will. I'm just saying, go ahead and tap that mute button.
I just don't. No, yeah.
Don't worry about it. We'll wrap it up when we're all done. So you go do what you got.
Yeah, you guys keep going, and everybody have a powerful day. And Nathan, not to be an ass, but it's not flight pack; it was fight pack. But
whatever.
All right, but I'll see you guys next time. I'm sorry.
I like how he. Yeah, he was just like, you know what? I got to bounce, but hey, you're wrong. All right. Anyway, go ahead and continue with the
Yeah, I was
story.
Scared shitless, because Nathan loved to ride people. He used to love to make fun of him for anything and everything. And I thought he's gonna have a field day when he sees all these He-Man toys and wrestling figures and G.I. Joes and Turtles and Dick Tracy and movie posters. All I was like, oh, he's just gonna crucify me, and he'll rag on me at school. And he was taken aback. Like he's just stopped and just looked at everything on display, and he had nothing but praise, and it just grew more and more and more. And I introduced him to this world again. He taught me about wrestling. Movies became a big part too, but the toys, man, it awakened something in him too that. I'm proud to say I was responsible for.
I mean, we learned a lot from each other, honestly. Yeah. Like, we really did. When I walked in and saw that, I was like, I remember Cyclone. I remember all this. and like, you were just like, oh, God. Oh, thank you. Like, It was just a huge sigh of relief that I wasn't just going to completely tear them apart. But I mean, why would I? Like, I get it, but at the same time, I just there's you can't replace any of that stuff. Like it's always going to stick with you, and most of us in the chat, like, we live through that, so there's no way that you can just entirely let that go. And I've noticed
that idea that, you know, I definitely was like the quintessential nerd back then too. I love basketball, but I was not a prep or anything like that, and popping the collars and all that stuff. And I didn't listen to trendy stuff or watch trendy stuff. I looked down upon people watching, you know, shitty, you know, movies that were in theaters at that time or whatever. So, you know, it just made me feel like, you know, oh, he likes the kids stuff, and, you know, sweating profusely if I wore like the old school brand shirts that had Panther or the Decepticon logo for fear of being made fun of.
Well, there was a specific time that we won't really discuss much, but Tyler had a Thundercats shirt and got made fun of, and I remember him coming to me and he was like, I was like, well, what's the big deal? Why does it matter?
Well, like these two idiots, you know, were making fun. They didn't even know what it was, and we're in the same grade. They didn't know what Thundercats was, but they just decided to just constantly just make. And one of them was a short, pint-sized redneck. The other one was just like this very average, you know, height guy. You know, just there was nothing. You know, anybody could have knocked the shit out of him, but, you know, because I'm not a confrontational person. But you just couldn't, like, yes.
How odd is that Tyler's not confrontational and he's got like all the muscles and the
it helps that way you don't have to worry about being confrontational.
Well, we already got a question from the chat. Big question: did Tyler have sleeves in high school? He did.
I did. Yeah,
you did. He oddly enough, it was funny when I shared those pictures. Like, the sleeves were not in those shirts. So.
Yeah, and I think that was not a maybe that was a sleeveless shirt, because I think back then I actually started to buy like sleeveless shirts because I was working out a lot at that time, or starting.
He's got to let him breathe, guys. Like, you don't understand. Like, it constricts so much with the movement. You know, like it's like
it's more relaxed being like this. Anyway.
It's like men on card figures. You just gotta let them breathe, man.
Yeah, I mean, pythons can't stay in the hole for very long. They got to get out and move around.
Oh my god! Oh, I hope I have the bucket somewhere. Did Joe already? I thought I saw the quote somewhere in here. Did Joe already say the quote?
No.
Now I gotta find it. Keep going, Tyler. I guess we'll start to wrap it up. You guys have more questions? I know Joe chimichanga'd and
yeah. But yeah, if you guys have anything else you want to ask us, you know, before we wrap things up, we'll give you some more time to a little bit more time to ask more questions. But
definitely go ahead and toss it out. I'll find the quote that Zentron had. Tyler, you have any recommendations?
Yeah, my recommendation is I changed my opinion on this character companion because
you were kind of worried about it a little bit.
I was, because honestly, I thought it was just gonna be classic bios, and everyone who listens knows I hate those bios. At least the ones written by Scott Nylick. I'm like, oh my god, and everyone's gonna be reading this and thinking like, oh man, Jitsu, real name Gary from the House of Asshole. You know, according to this, and well, this is what really happened. Look at his bio. Like, no, that's not what happened. But that's not the case. And this offers quite a few assortment of things that have happened to these characters or how they were portrayed in various forms of media, from, you know, the UK annuals, the German audio plays, the mini comics, Filmation. So if you just, I mean, we're talking like artifacts are in here. Like, they got the Cosmic Key written here. You've got every obscure character in from Filmation to mini comics to magazines are all featured in this book. If they weren't used much, they're at least given a small pair. Azrog and Spydra are featured in here. They should have let me write a little bit longer bio for them. But Daniel says there are some mistakes in this book. Maybe that I can be allowed on the 2.0 release.
You already pointed out one of them. Supposedly.
Well, no. What I thought wasn't in here is in here. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Egg on your face.
Yeah. So, and I admit, when I make mistakes, I own it. But I highly recommend this book. You know, it's definitely. I'm so thankful that everybody who worked on this did a very good job. And I if I could, I'd hug Danielle profusely for taking some personal funds of hers and sending me, Nathan, and Joe this wonderful item that we'll continue to use on this podcast. But you don't have to take my word for it.
You fucked it up. Oh, there we go. I was about to say you fucked it up again.
No, I had it ready to go.
I just go ahead and just
like, never works as good as it should.
Just smack my webcam off the top of my monitor. How that works?
At this point, why not?
All right. Zentron's quote: "First, it's the farm that time forgot. Now this. Why don't ever fall?"
And the people who own condos.
It's
Casey Jones, the last coach, yes, in the first Turtles film. Thank you for quoting something that's actually like an actual quote, not just, hold the door. That's not a quote.
Hodor.
Hold the door.
Hodor.
Yeah, Hodor. I see what you did there.
You get it.
I get it.
Looking for. Would you guys like to see Faker in the movie? I don't know if this was covered at all after the fact.
That would have to be the sequel, something like Faker that couldn't be introduced until like He-Man and Skeletor have fought. They know who the other is, and that would make sense. Like for Faker to show up like in a third or second film. Yeah, but yeah, that would look awesome.
Okay. I say that too, and I was thinking Zim Brown popped in the chat earlier when we were done with that, and was just like, I really enjoyed that segment of the show, so I'm glad that you appreciated it. I hope you guys appreciated it too.
Yeah, we're not all just a bunch of grouches. I liked it better that way.
Well, I can't speak I can speak for myself, and I can't speak for Joe. I think Joe's okay, but Tyler, quite the grump.
Yeah. I own it.
All right. I'm not like Joe. I'm not like, scrolling. I'm looking.
Well, if there's anything else, come on, pop them in there, guys.
Yeah.
More time. Throw it if you want something.
Anything. It doesn't even have. Honestly, it doesn't have to be Master of the Universe related. Like,
if you wonder what Nathan liked, what his favorite cereal is, you can ask him that. Or
well, you already posed that question. My favorite cereal. I know Tyler's going to be like, well, he used to eat Cheerios and Kix a lot when I came.
But I think he likes the cereal 8 Nuts.
What?
It's a Crack magazine joke where they're spoofing cereals, and one of them's called 8 Nuts instead of Grape Nuts.
Sportimus had a question, supposedly. 2 questions in the chat. Well, I already saw the sleeves. Tyler didn't wear shirts back in the day.
What?
I'm trying to find. Sportimus said he had a couple questions, but it looks like he didn't because it referred to your sleeves.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys just keep throwing out some more stuff. Tyler, what else do you want to talk about? Scroll up, way up. Oh, all right. While you do that, keep talking, Tyler.
I said we probably need to do like a fan Q&A relatively soon too, where we just let listeners send us questions and we just answer questions the whole time. I think we're due for something like that. So maybe what?
No, I was just gonna say we probably are long overdue. Sportimus, I can't find it. Just go ahead and post it again, and we'll get.
Yeah. Get past your ego there. You can work your fingers and post it again there. But if Joe's up for it, maybe next weekend we do we'll just let the people in the chat room or listeners send us questions. That's just what we do the whole time, whether it's He-Man related or they could ask us, which Karate Kid sequel is the better? I would say Part 3, and here's why.
Oh no, you can't get them worked up like that. Just Ryan, have you noticed so many women in Mo2 are redheads? And where can I buy a Russian wife?
Well, I didn't. Well, I mean, there are quite a few redheads. I mean, the Sorceress and Tila and Queen Marlena and Cassius Spella's kind of reddish brown, maybe auburn. So there's a few, but I wouldn't say there's a whole lot. But yeah, there's the prominent member like Tila, Queen Marlena, and the Sorceress are all redheads. You got Glimmer with her purple hair, and Frost has got her blue hair, and Sweet Bee's got like kind of Sweet Bee has red hair too. Son of a bitch. Yeah, red hair is quite the common hair color. But I'm always partial to Frosta and Glimmer's hairdo. I just think that those kind of hairdos on women, that's pretty sexy.
I was trying to look where you can buy a Russian wife, but
shouldn't be too hard to find. Maybe Joe knows.
There's just a lot of articles. Well, actually, there was a point when, because you know how Joe always bugs me to do Beyond Retro Arcades all the time. I was like, what if I did those, but then I read like Craigslist personal ads?
Oh man, Nathan used to do that with me sometimes too.
I was telling him that, like, it's kind of funny, like how I read them, but I can't find a site for the Russian wives. We have a couple more questions. Sportimus says, would you guys be into a direct to DVD Motu animated movie, and what style would you prefer? 2000X Filmation?
You can kind of do an amalgam of both.
But, I think at this point that's probably how it should be, right? Like kind of a mix of both. And
yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like you can get away with mixing a few elements, but it wouldn't have to be Filmation. Like Filmation is their style of animation, but you look at how He-Man looked in the 80s along with Skeletor, and I mean, that's 2000X just kind of amped up a few things, but I think pretty much how they looked in the 80s, and not just Filmation, but just you looked at the Earl Norm's paintings, that's what you go with. Or something like William George, like, on the cover of this book. That's the kind of look you go for. You can throw in a few 2000X elements, but as long as it's treated with dignity and not 3D animation. I want 2D animation, people.
I'll get to some stuff that Kevin Sharp has said. Sportimus also says, what remaining Filmation characters would you like to see in the Vintage and Classics Filmation Super 7 figure line?
Got to see Lizard Man in the Vintage line. Got to see Icer and Strong Arm, Masque and Chakotay, Negator, who we've yet to see in Classics form too. Azrog and Spider, which that's just a pipe dream. But the Meteorbs, for crying out loud, the Meteorbs have yet to be acknowledged just because of this voodoo of like, people won't want to buy them. That's why we don't do them. Well, we just don't really know there's a market for it because, 3 people said they don't want it. And, well, there you have it. I just feel like that's something drastic needs to be represented as well, too. Skeletor's robot troops from the movie, I think they need to be represented, too. I mean, there's a whole slew of Garn, Prince Daikon, not just Filmation, but a lot of like one-shot characters that showed up and have never appeared again. So, Kevin, you're still there.
Kevin is definitely here. I was going to get to some of the stuff he's popping in the chat. Grim2 says Queen Elmora is also a redhead. Kevin Sharp says go see Godzilla.
I know. I had a long talk with him about that, and he was like, he was doing his best. Like, yeah, this story's shit, but the monsters are awesome. You gotta go see it, man.
I mean, I get that. That's kind of been the whole thing in the last trend of the last 15 years. Like, go see the Transformers. The robots are great. Humans are shit. Go see Godzilla. The monsters are great. The humans are shit. Kevin Sharp also says Chris Pratt as Orko. Make it happen.
And Kevin Sharp also says Kevin Sharp suicide happen here too.
Kevin Sharp also says Pratt is Orko 2020. Make Masters great again.
I bet his girlfriend's making him say all this.
No. He is his own man, Tyler. Gotta scroll.
Kevin.
No, gotta.
You owe me like a character illustration of Webster just for saying all that stuff.
Grim2 says tomorrow. No. Grim2 says, but would you mind if an animated movie continues the original?
Yeah. No, I'd be fine with that.
Okay. Angry Guy Production says, Tyler, you may have covered this on a previous episode, but what are your thoughts on Super 7 vintage figures?
I think it's a great idea, but I'm not happy with them just doing nothing but Filmation style characters again, like of characters we've already got, like He-Man, Man at Arms, Skeletor, Beastman. Like we've got this. Like I'm fine with it, but I wanted them to continue, like getting Plasmor / Hotshot or Slamurai or the Snake Horde Troopers, the characters that we were supposedly supposed to get, like Hero and Eldor. Like that's what this vintage line should be, like continuing the characters that we have not yet received, and just I know they're doing it so that way they can get new customers in. But for me, I'm like, it's a great idea. I just hate how they're starting off with just, hey, here's He-Man and Skeletor again. Never bought those before. But I think it's a great idea. And I did buy Evil Seed and Shadow Weaver in vintage form. So when they release characters that need to be in the actual line, not just lazy variants, then yeah, I think I'll support anything they put out. Absolutely.
Tags Media Animation asks, Tyler, who are your favorite G.I. Joe good guys and bad guys?
Bad guys: Cobra Commander, Destro, Storm Shadow, Big Boa, Crocmaster, Crystal Ball, the Dreadnoks.
Sorry to interrupt, but there was also a question earlier. Tyler, where did you get that Destro tank top?
I got it at T Public. There is if you just put in Destro, there's a guy that's I forgot what his name was. I bought actually a couple shirts. He's the same guy that sold me the Overlord from Black Star shirt. He's done these illustrations of 80s villains like this. It's serious, no goofy slang or sentences or anything like, just like Cobra Commander, Skeletor, Hordak, Tex Hex, Monstar, Cobra Commander, Primeval from the Ghostbusters Filmation series. Just their face that's very similar to how they looked in the cartoon on a t-shirt, tank top. I think they have baseball tees, a regular t-shirt. They have a wide assortment. But if you just put in Destro and T-Public, this should come up as one of the images on there. If you click on the guy who made this, you'll find a whole slew of like really great images of just, villains of some of the great cartoons on t-shirts and stuff.
I kind of feel like Tyler is making it a point to buy more tank tops just so he has something different on the show every week.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of in the same boat in a way, because I was like, when did I wear this shirt last on any of the podcasts we've done? I should probably wear a different shirt, because I don't want people to think like each of us.
Oh, Nathan's poor. He just has one shirt he wears.
Yeah, we just own 3 shirts. Zen Brown asks, do you think we'll finally get a Queen Marlena figure in 5.5-inch style?
We should. No, I think it's overdue. I think that should be part of the next wave, along with like a Lizard Man and an Icer and a Strong Arm is essentials, like characters that we got in the cartoon we did not get in the. But also for like Slamurai and Hotshot or Plasmor need to be made too pronto. So yes, she needs to be made.
And JSP said made it, because JSP messaged us beforehand and was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make the show, but here you are hanging out.
Okay, well, good for him.
We're kind of past the mark. Let's go ahead and close this up. Tyler, you already gave your recommendations. I messaged Joe and I'm like, hey man, we're still going. If you want to pop in, go ahead. But I guess
he's not coming back. I know him. He ain't coming back.
Yeah, I figured as much. But thank you guys in the chat for joining us. If you are new to the channel, please hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when Fans of Power goes live. Check out all the links down below. Check out Beyond Retro. Download us on iTunes and Podbean. Hit Joe up for custom bias t-shirts, especially bias t-shirts, because we're probably going to have something special.
Well, yeah, next week there might be a hostile takeover on next week's episode.
I know.
So we're going to say sporting a new look for all of us.
I'm just saying, we might all be out of here, and someone else might be taking over.
Yeah, and we can say that if they're here, they're not here to play. I mean, look
at the adjective.
Yeah, play.
On that note, we hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment down below, like the video, share with your friends, and until then, have a powerful day.
What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer?
See, I kind of hate this when Joe bounces out, because then it's up to me to figure out your quotes.
Well, believe me, this movie has a special place in your heart, and if you don't get this one, then
we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, I'm disowning you right here on the podcast in front of all these people.
Oh man, come on. Can you give me a hint?
Tom Arnold says it.
It's got to be it's got to be Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6. I knew it. Got it. Nailed it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course you did.
No, what's it from?
True Lies.
I'm terrible at quotes. Like I'm like Joe. I just like I don't retain. Like I retain certain things. Like I'm gonna retain when you and I quote Clerks or Half Baked or
Wheeze the Juice and Encino Man or something
exactly.
like that. Yeah,
or Meat Group.
Yeah.
From that, like there are certain things that I retain, but when you throw that out, it's kind of like the Zentron quotes. I'm just like, what?
No, these are specific. Zentron's quotes, they're just random.
Hey, man, I'm gonna step up to the plate. Don't crap on the Zentrons.
He's still in my gimmick here, and he's throwing out things that just are. See, tonight's quote was good. That's a quote.
I mean, hey, JSP got it. JSP said True Lies. Tags Media said Ghostbusters, so that was way off.
No. No, but I will give Zentron all the credit in the world because that's the kind of quote I'm looking for. Is something prominent like that. It's very distinct and unique.
Note to self, all the listeners out there: follow Tyler. I can't even say your name. I apologize. Follow Tyler's template, and you'll get it done.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know either. Thank you, guys. See you next time.
We'll see you next week.